might get that. Jamie, will you pull this up? Will you pull up Joan Benet Ramsey nude?
Well, Jacob Humphries, welcome to the Real Driving Man podcast.
I love that. That's how it started. Don't pull that up, Jamie. Don't pull that up. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks
for coming.
Oh, dude, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to just sit and talk for an hour and a half and not feel like someone's like, do they want to get up? Do they have to leave? Do they have to? Sorry, I feel like I'm talking too much. I feel like they're like, okay, I'll see you later. You're like, I walked my only audience member, which was the person I was having a conversation with, and I'm just like, oh,
Why'd
shit.
you walk him?
Shit. I don't know, dude, but my brain just keeps going sometimes. Like my mouth will go and my brain won't be like, stop. Because I'm a server and I'll do that at the table. Like I'll just keep fucking going. And like at some point my brain is just like, let these people enjoy their food.
Dude, that's like
Walk
me with
the fuck
every
away.
conversation
It's
ever.
crazy.
You walk away and you're like, stupid.
What was I thinking, dude? Oh, I'm so dumb, dude. I'm fucking idiot. Yeah, no. As I was explaining, I love my Red Bull. Before you started, I was explaining. I brought coconut Red Bull, and I brought this new one, the winter edition.
The winter
is
coming.
The winter is coming, and nice. It's coming all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I haven't even smoked yet this morning. Winter edition is iced vanilla berry.
Iced vanilla. I feel like if they just keep adding things, they're like, this will sound good.
This will sound good. This will be
Eventually.
good. All right, so I'm going to go with the winter edition first because I know that I'm going to like this.
Yeah, that's
Like,
always a good move.
I know this is – I'll chug that in 30 seconds. But this guy – I was also curious to see what the color was. It's the exact same color as the white one. I'd shit you not, John Henry, when I open this and pour it in here, it's going to look like it's just another one of these. So first taste test of the iced vanilla berry on your podcast, John Henry.
Red Bull, sponsor me. No.
No, that tastes like yogurt. That's not good.
Do you want to dump that out?
You know what it tastes like?
What?
Have you had the yogurts in the plastic?
Dude, I've never actually had a Red Bull.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to try it?
No, not necessarily. I've never
Don't
really liked the
break
case.
your sobriety today. You've gone. How old are you?
26.
You've gone 26 years without having one of these god awful things put into your body.
No, well, because I have ADHD as well.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I was
drinking it for
told
the taste.
in high school, like I've been medicated. I take Concerta. I don't know if I should share that, but I did.
I don't know if I should tell the people. The stuff they put in batteries.
Yeah, that's a different one.
That's a different one.
And so it was always like that was already like functioning. I heard that, and I don't know how true it is that like taking a ton of caffeine is not the greatest for that.
For that medicine in specific.
With it,
ADHD.
I always took it if I needed it. So I started to drink coffee when I'd have to wake up at 4 a.m. to go to like do landscaping jobs.
Right, whenever you needed to have that boost to
Or
be like.
I love my favorite thing in the world is like weed and a coffee. Like,
Yeah.
fuck
Hippie speedball, baby. That's what I call it.
I got my pumpkin spice here.
Yeah.
And I've always.
Do you do hot or cold?
I do. I tend to do hot, but I will do cold if it's something. Not
I'm a
often.
prissy bitch when it comes to pumpkin spice because I have to get the Starbucks pumpkin spice out of the bottle in the grocery store.
Oh, I have to. I bought like the pods from
Like the little Keurigs?
Yeah.
See, those go hard. Those are good things.
Those are good ones.
I have a Keurig on my counter in my kitchen. Have not used it in 3 years. Like because I've used it. It's not like I didn't use the Keurig. It's just at a certain point I was just like, I don't need it anymore. I don't need coffee. And then I stopped drinking coffee. And then I went and found a French press, and I was just like, yeah, a French press. And then my Keurig is just like a sad little toy that I'd stopped playing with. And now it's got to be built up with bacteria, so there's no reason for me to even try to clean
So we'll
it.
just keep drinking Red Bull.
Yeah, exactly. I just keep crushing Red Bulls, bro.
I have tried. Have you ever tried? I tried like Jocko's energy drink and Jocko Willink. It's kind of like he's a Navy SEAL. And
Is he?
Yeah, and he has
That's David Goggins juice.
basically and different guy, but
Different dude, but same thing. Same like mentality.
it's not. There's like no sugar in it. It's
That's impressive that you can get an energy drink with no sugar.
It has like it's about the energy caffeine of a normal cup of coffee.
Okay.
But I love it. I loved it for hunting when I didn't want to like make something, and it has electrolytes in it. So like when you're hunting, you want to have electrolytes.
Yeah,
so
you want your body to be up.
And I love the Rocks energy drink, and then they stopped.
Oh, Zoa.
I tried that for a bit. I liked the lemon lime one, and
See,
then I stopped. I couldn't find it anymore.
I never tried that. Well, honestly, because I would just drink Red Bulls all the time, and I want to like be. I'm a good boy, all right. I don't drink. This is a special treat for me. I'm on your podcast. I was gonna go to Dutch Bros. It was 17 minutes out of the way, so I was like, I'll go to this really shifty 7-Eleven and grab some Liquid Death. One 7-Eleven I go to, no Liquid Death. Every 7-Eleven I go to has a Liquid Death iced tea section. This 7-Eleven did not. So
is Liquid Death
yogurt
form
Red
of
Bull?
iced
It
tea?
is.
I thought it was like a sparkling water.
So Liquid Death they're expanding, baby. They're getting up there. They've got sparkling water. They've got flat, regular spring water, mountain waterfall, whatever it is, whatever they say it is. And then they've got flavored sparkling waters.
Okay.
Which are, some of them are like LaCroix, right? But then some of them are sweetened with agave syrup. So they're like light sodas, if you will. Like there's one that's their new special fall edition, and it's apple cider. And it's like an spiced apple cider sparkling water.
How much sugar is in those things? That's my biggest thing.
See, I think it's like maybe 25 grams.
That's a lot.
Is it?
Oh yeah. I'm really like.
Then lower it down. Then lower it to 6.
So
it's 6 grams.
That
of
was
sugar.
the biggest thing when I started to be. So I don't drink because I drank too much when I was 20 because of a cute girl and destroyed my pancreas.
You're lucky because I'm lucky. You're not lucky because your liver had to go through it. I just chose not to do alcohol. It was just like, ew. Does it all taste like that?
I was a guy who was 5'7", and as a short dude, I was like, I can go with the big boys,
license, dude.
I can go with the big boys, and you can't. You will destroy your pancreas.
You can't. Yeah, no, you're a baby. Yeah, come on.
Your liver will regenerate. My pancreas does not, and so then I had to be like, because your pancreas also does insulin, and so high amounts of sugar regulate that. So when I started to eat healthy, the biggest thing I did was I cut out drinks.
Okay.
If you ever look at drinks with sugar, like Coke, you're it's insane.
Okay, here's the supercomputer stats. Flavored sparkling water, 3 grams of sugar per 16-ounce can.
That's not bad.
6 grams of sugar for the iced tea per 19-ounce can.
Sweetened tea is an abomination to mankind. It needs to be genocided off the face of the earth.
Okay, so I'm from South Carolina, right?
Oh, so this is where we'll fundamentally disagree.
No. I'm not a sweet tea stan.
Oh,
I am not that. I like sweet tea. But I don't like whatever the fuck that they were doing in South Carolina. Because whenever I've been in the restaurant industry since I could work, right? I was a hairstylist for a little bit, but other than that, restaurant. In South Carolina, when you work at a restaurant, you make fucking sweet tea, baby.
Oh,
all right? And you know how much sugar goes into a pitcher?
We want a little tea with sugar.
And that's how it is. It's like just a regular, like something that you'd see at a diner that somebody comes and fills your water up with. Mm-hmm. That whole thing's getting filled up with sugar. And that's going in the tea. And sorry? What? Sorry, you're not going to make a simple syrup?
I grew up in a family where my dad I've always grown up drinking unsweetened iced tea. So to me, whenever I drink sweet tea, yeah, you can move that however you want.
I'm gonna set up a dab real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, he got it. I'll continue. And so I grew up drinking unsweetened iced tea. And whenever I drink sweetened tea, it's like I'm drinking 2 separate ingredients. You just got to kind of shove it in the hole.
Do you shove it in the hole?
Yeah, you just shove it in the hole.
All right. I didn't want to be rough with it, you know.
You sometimes got to be a little rough with it, gentle, and then you move into the rougher stuff.
This is Smooth Feelings on KZ 102.4.
This is great.
That's nice. All right. So, what are you feeling? Are you feeling like fruity? Are you feeling stinky? All right. So I'll give you the flavors. Rainbow guava. This was given to me by David, who runs this brand, Jars Over Duffels. I just did a show at Tetra Weed Lounge for Billy Wayne Davis. He gave me a guest spot there. Laugh Your Hash Off at the end of every month, every Sunday. Last Sunday of every month, they have a couple comedians at Tetra. Everybody smokes. It's so fun. Good time.
Awesome. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them. They're great. Thanks for having me on, Billy, if you see this. This dude, David, was like, yo, great set. Do you smoke hash? I'm like, fuck yeah, I smoke hash. What, you want to smoke some hash? He goes, do you want some? And he throws me a 2-gram jar of this. This is rainbow guava. Dude, this is, I mean, you can't smell this, but I'm holding it up to the microphone right now, and it's insane. That smells like candy.
Wow, that smells surprisingly like flour.
That's wild, right? Like it's almost to the point where, yeah, it smells like a bag of weed. It smells like a bag of weed.
I'm gonna trust you to make the choices here because I'm actually not a dab person. I'm entirely a flower person.
You're a flower guy.
Yeah.
Smell that. I want you to just go based off the smells.
Ooh, that's subtle, but
that's called Strawberry Beach. All right, so that's a cross of Strawnana and Wilson.
Dude, I
F3.
wish weed names didn't sound so gay all the time.
I know, right? It's
you got alcohol like Cuervo.
This one's called Jealous Melon.
And then yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
my point.
Yeah, okay, all right. A little bit of that there left, but that's a pinene forward.
Ooh, I want to try that.
Yeah,
because I like pine because I'm a man. I'm a man. I love
You like to smell like the forest, dude.
You ever see old Carlin's joke about next guy who walks into an elevator smelling like a pine tree? He's getting stabbed in the eye.
He's getting stabbed in the eye.
There's a list of things you should kill yourself for. I wanted to ask you about this because you have been interesting. I've been in the Denver comedy scene for 3.5 years.
3.5 years. It's
more or less. I've been out in Austin and Salt Lake for like 9 months of that time. So
okay.
But you've meshed in surprisingly well with a lot of people, like in a good way. You fit in.
And honestly, that's my one thing. I was never good at school. I was never good at
high five, problem
being,
children.
I was never good at being like a good student. I was always good at being a person. I was always good at like my teachers didn't hate me. They were just like, he needs to do better in school. He's a great kid, but he just needs to try harder. And I'm like, listen, it's not trying. It's I'm stupid, okay? I'm trying my best, but you like me, and that's what the thing that I was looking for was I wanted people to like me. That's my one skill is I haven't met a stranger. It doesn't happen. When I meet somebody and they're a stranger, they're not, because 10 to 15 seconds goes by, and then they're no longer a stranger. That's just how I felt my entire life. Which I feel like is beneficial to me when it comes to integrating myself into a community where I've not ever been in before. Coming from South Carolina, there's not a comedy scene in Myrtle Beach. There's one comedy club, and you get booked there if you've been on the Country Music Television channel. That's it. If you've been on CMT, good job, because you're getting booked at the Comedy Cabana, you know? But if you're not on CMT, the Cabana doesn't want anything to do with you. They have one open mic a month, and it's a bringer show. So you have to bring 10 people, and everybody has to buy drinks. I don't know 10 people in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I know, right? I know my mom and my dad.
And you don't want them at a comedy show.
And I don't want them to come and watch me, you know? So I never did it. I never went into stand-up comedy until I got here, because then I found out that the scene was huge, or huge in my eyes.
It's also awesome. Like the scene here is very, very friendly, and most people are super, super, super cool.
Yeah, I've been welcomed with open arms, dude. It's been extremely comforting.
That's so funny. You have the exact opposite thing of a problem child I did. Because I was a problem child, but I was actually really good in school, but I was just a disagreeable piece of shit who didn't want people to like me. And if you told me what to do, I wasn't going to listen. Yeah. And they thought they could be like, you're going to miss recess. I'm like, I'll stay in here all fucking year. Yeah, and it drove them crazy.
Watch me, dude. Yeah, no, you can tell me whatever you want. I will do the opposite.
And it's so interesting how people work differently. Because in the Denver comedy scene, it's... people who would fit in with a normal social group don't fit in there. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, oh, I'm going to come and fit in. And it's like, no, because some people will try too hard. But if you're just yourself, then you'll do this. I'll hit this now.
Hit that. It is on a timer. I didn't want to say anything. It's my autism jumping out at me. It's just like, it's only got 20 seconds left. I just wanted you to know you're probably going to get really stoned off of that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. As long as you're
Just tell me when to shut
aware,
up.
you know what you're going into, you know what you're walking
Dude,
into.
I was waiting for this. I was looking forward to this all week.
Good.
Because I was doing this out of my parents' basement. And we would be doing this, but there would be no table, there'd be no desk, and my bed would be right there.
Yeah, so you're just like, well, everybody that has to come over has to sit next to my bed. You know,
And
I don't necessarily.
$1,000 to get this room
This is
set
awesome.
up, and
This is
just I was
killer.
like, I want to keep bringing people in here to hang out, have conversations, and bring like. I think the Denver comedy scene has something special, where unlike with Austin, where I don't know, I was in Austin for 7 months, and
You've got something to compare and contrast to.
well, and I love Austin, not to hit, but so many professional comedians there moved there at once with Rogan that you have this. 60% of the scene is awesome, like Denver. You want to hang out with them, they're chill. The other 40% want to be comedy famous. They want to get on Kill Tony. They want to do their minute. And so you're just going to get that in a bigger scene no matter what. It's not, I don't want to say it's a negative, it's just a trade-off.
Yeah, that's what happens in comedy.
And the city of Austin did not have time to grow with the scene because Rogan moved there. So you get these irregularities would be the things with the mismatch between the city and the scene and the comedy goers. Still an amazing city. Recommend it for everybody. I have a lot of friends there. But Denver, I think, has the not opposite. It's just different. We don't have those big people there, but we have an awesome scene.
We have a really good scene. There's not like you don't have Tony Hinchcliffe. You don't have Joe Rogan. You don't have.
We have Ben Roy.
Yeah, you have Ben Roy. We have Rory Scovel. We have we've got fucking Daly. What's his name?
Ben Daly? No. Ben Daly's been on this podcast.
Ben Daly's very funny. I'm trying to think of. I see Billy Wayne Davis lives here, and he's a killer comedian. He just released a Hulu special, and that's the show I just did this past Sunday. Like he does a show here. There's a lot of really cool people that are here in this scene.
Exactly.
And for me, like I'm very new. You know, I've been doing this for 8 months, 9 months. Like I moved here a year ago this month.
I hate to break it to, but if you can you bring
I
the
can
thingy
I can talk
a little closer.
I can talk closer to the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I do want to cough away from the mic. I've only been here since October of last year, so I've only been here a year.
And that's my point, is what actually we have all, a bunch of good professionals here. There's professionals in Denver. Sam Talent was from here. He comes here all the time.
Dan Soder's from fucking Colorado.
Exactly. But what makes, I think it was specifically because I wasn't in before COVID, but before COVID, I hear the Denver comedy scene wasn't as supportive, and that's all I'll say because I just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's all hearsay.
Exactly. But I think the group I came up with, and I started with Josh Beaver, Jake DePizza, Evan Joe, Spaghetti Jake. We all started around the same time.
Really?
Like within 6 months, 6 months, all of us started. That was our class.
And that was like 2021?
That was 2021. My first open mic was in April of 2021.
Wow. Okay, so they've all been doing it around the same time as you.
Exactly. The reason I think, and I use this as an excuse for why I'm not as far in the scene as them, is because the first 2 weeks I was here, and then I was in Salt Lake for 3 months, and I went down to Austin. But I'm glad I did, because I realized coming back to Denver, what makes Denver is this class we came up with, mainly because the attitude we have towards people like you.
Yeah.
Like, we think you're funny or cool, you're going to get put up.
Yeah.
And I think that if you give Denver people want it to be big, they'll move out. But I think if the people here stay here, in the next 5 to 10 years, Denver could be an amazing comedy city. We're not too liberal of a city. We have enough of balance with Colorado Springs.
Yeah, and this is a red state. It's blue because of
Denver and the Fort Collins. Yeah,
because of how many fucking people are here.
And that's every Western state's like that.
Yeah.
Every state is actually like that. But I think that, and people like Evan Joe, I remember when I heard someone talking to Evan Joe, I was like, hey, you gonna leave? He's like, I love Denver. And I loved his response, because I think that we could build something organically. And then, this is my secret high plan, because I'm now a little stoned.
Release it to the people.
I'm hoping, so Wendy, who owns Comedy Works, is obviously made an amazing club.
She's done very, very well for herself. She's built one of the best comedy clubs
in the world.
Yeah. It's a club that not only people like, every single comedian likes that club. Downtown Comedy Works. Everybody likes that fucking club.
Exactly.
She's done really well.
I'm hoping, because I know Rogan, when he lived in Colorado for a bit,
Wanted to.
I'm hoping if she decides, to retire, she sells it to Rogan, because, and this is in my humble opinion as a comic who's been in both scenes, I think that the Austin and Denver scene actually can work together well.
Would merge really well together.
Not perfectly. Austin's bigger, so there's more of that, but
There's going to be a lot, yeah.
The guys I did know and I did comedy with, especially the guys who were like 5-8 years in, they would work well, and that alliance would allow Denver and Austin to rival places like New York and LA.
Yeah.
And
Which is crazy, dude.
And not in like but like if there's those opportunities, they're close enough by flights where the scenes could feed off each other. It would give Austin comedians a different outlet, and so would
it would give Denver comedians a brand new outlet if they haven't been to Austin.
Exactly. And I think if
crazy.
the way that I saw how I never got on the mothership. You signed up for 2 weeks every week, but never got on. I'm still a little sour.
I would be. I mean, the mothership. It's my. Do you remember the Australian guy that was just here, Bruno?
Yeah.
Yeah, he signed up once, got up on Kill Tony.
I know he was on this podcast.
Oh, you had Bruno on?
I had Bruno on. I love Bruno.
Yeah.
I drove him around.
He's a good cunt.
He's a good cunt.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But signing up one time and then making it in versus like people that have been like, oh, I've been signing up for 6 years.
I got on after 6 weeks, and have you seen my bombing on Kill Tony? I think it wasn't.
You were in a gi.
I was in a gi.
It was in a gi. It was nowhere close to as bad as I've seen other people do.
It was also a bad night. I mean, I don't like to make excuses for myself. It was a bad night, but I was like not in a place to stand up. So I have bipolar and ADHD. So when I have no energy, what I actually lack is the ability to regulate my energy.
Yeah.
Which is why I came out like a screaming
Like
bull.
you were just like on fire.
Because
dude.
there's no stopping. It's just like you're gonna burn out, and that's why in the interview, I remember like. Imagine like the worst thing that could happen to you. You thought you bomb in front of Tony Hinchcliffe is one of my favorite comedians.
Yeah.
You bomb in front of your heroes. It's like
he just bombed
it was
in
like
front
you
of
just
his
been
hero.
raped, and then your rapist is interviewing you.
Yeah, and you're just like, can you stop asking me questions?
I'm like, I have to get off this stage. I have to get off the stage
Wow,
without
okay.
running off.
That was your mentality, which was need to go. Gotcha.
And I remember when he says, like, have they gone back? Like, what did you do differently? Or, like, is there anything else that's interested you? And I was like, I have other things I could say, but I'm done.
I have other things that I could say, but I think, honestly, out of the best interest of me, I should leave,
Exactly.
I should go.
And he kind of let me go. I don't know. It was my first 6 weeks in Austin. I don't know if that was the reason I never got on the mothership. I don't think it was. I don't think
it's
it would.
probably just,
But
they didn't
call
pull
you.
your name, yeah.
And I signed up for Kill Tony. I think I took a month break, and then I went back and signed up every week as well.
Wow.
Because I didn't like that next day. I'm going to tell the whole story if I'm going to tell you the bombing. So I had just been in Austin for 6 weeks, and I just worked my first day at my landscaping job.
Oh, wow, that you had in Austin.
Yeah, so landscaping, you're doing physical work.
Outside.
And it was also during
In Austin.
the 2-3 days of the freeze. So it was freezing.
Oh, damn.
And it was like that wet freeze, so it was awful.
So you hit me with the complete opposite of what I thought you were going to say.
It-
I was just like, yeah, he was hot and sweaty. And you were like, I was cold and shivering.
Exactly. And then
it's the same
I was
fucking
trying
color.
to have
The same exact color. I'm telling you, dude.
Whoa.
They love this
Whoa.
blue, dude. They love this blue 30.
Holy shit, that is the same fucking
I
color.
also love blue
For
30.
the listeners, the blue Red Bull and the white Red Bull are the same color.
I don't know why they didn't go with a different one. Anyway, continue. Sorry. Blue color.
So I was working my first day there, and I was like, Goggins mentality, gotta go get it. So right after I went to
Tastes like sunscreen.
Kill Tony, after I got off work, I went to jiu-jitsu practice. And I
Oh,
trained
jeez, that's why you
jiu-jitsu.
were in the gi.
Yes, I just got from jiu-jitsu.
Fuck, dude.
And then I go, and that night I was like, I'm pretty tired, but let me go. And one of the reasons I was wearing the gi because I thought it'd be funny and fun. In hindsight, I think it was kind of gimmicky and hacky, and I don't want to do it for reasons I'll end the story with. But I remember I went there, and it was cold, which is why I had the gi on, because it was rare, and it was rare. I had flip-flops on and everything. I was
Shit's warm as fuck, too, also.
coming straight from jiu-jitsu, And we're waiting there, and that night, Roseanne Barr was supposed to be on the panel as well. It was Ali Markovsky, Tony Hinchcliffe, Red Band was there, and then what's her face? Roseanne Barr was supposed to be the fourth. Thank God she wasn't there.
I was about to say, dude, yeah, I think you
God.
struck gold with her not being
know.
there. She would make me hurt myself.
I know.
She
I
would
love her too.
She'd be so mean to me, dude.
She would have been so mean.
I'd rather have a conversation with John Goodman, to be honest with you.
I think I would love to have a conversation with her, but not after bombing.
No.
Anyway,
I don't know nowadays, John Henry. Roseanne Barr is kind of like the kooky aunt that you're like.
well, that's why I'd love her because I grew up with
Stay
mental illness in the family.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
So it would that's why I loved Rick Kearns.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Then you're like, I'm eating this up, baby.
Because
It's like Thanksgiving.
But in a good way. Like I know, as a person who's been in psych wards, there's craziness, and if you can see past it into the person, there's like, oh, this is a human.
Oh yeah, which is it's in every case. It's no matter what. Every person is a human being. Some people are dealing with things that others can't even contextualize.
You know
they
who
can't
is
even imagine.
Tony. I realized that because I go up. 4 people go up before me. They all bomb.
Mm-hmm.
The show was it was not a good night. He was just drawing names.
Yeah.
I go up, and as soon as I got on stage, I went into that mode. Like, as I was walking up, my friends are like, shit, he has too much energy.
Yeah.
I went in. You can go find it. It's episode 256. I'm like 25 minutes or so. I'm not running from it. And I went up, bombed. And then on the panel, he offers the audience a refund when I'm on stage. And
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? Oh.
that's what I'm going to say if I'm ever on again. I'm going to be like, dude. It says, like, how do you think it went? I'm like, well, you didn't offer the audience a refund.
Offer people a refund after my set, so better than last time.
Exactly.
Oh, that's crazy.
And he let me go. That he offered, but that wasn't a comment on me because when he did the refund, he wasn't looking at me. He was
looking at the audience,
and it was the show wasn't going well, so
Yeah.
I was a part of that.
And
Obviously.
I don't think it was mainly like, oh, because this guy sucks so much, I'm going to give you your money back. It's just because every
Exactly.
single comic just wasn't what they expected. It wasn't what you expect when you get Kill Tony. You think you're going to say, oh, that guy sucked, and then you get, whoa, that dude was so good. Oh, look, a new regular who's probably, have some traumatic brain injury.
So
or
Hans
something.
Kim bombed, and that was the thing that set the whole thing.
Really?
He was the first one, and Hans Kim had a bad set.
Damn.
And so that set the thing for the.
That is not good. That is not good. That is not good. That was not good.
Anyway,
That's crazy.
the bombing happened. I go in. He let me go. That was the worst. He didn't roast me. It would have been easier if
he roasted you, he was just like, yeah, okay. You can leave.
Exactly.
You're like, don't dismiss me.
Don't have mercy on me.
Oh,
that's
man,
that's the
that's
last.
worse.
Yeah. You want Tony Hinchcliffe to insult you. You don't want
Yeah.
him to have mercy on you.
That's what you're there for. Is you're there to do comedy, and then for him to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to tell you about your comedy. But then you did comedy, and he was just like, you can go.
Dude, after you get off stage, it is a weird. I've never been raped, so I don't want to say it, but it is like an out of
Hey,
body.
let's keep it that way. You know what I'm saying, brother? Let's go. Out of body experience. Yeah, I mean, I probably, for the women listeners, if there are, we're not comparing bombing a comic set to probably one of the most traumatic
horrific violations
Horrific
of a human being.
violations of a human's privacy. Not what John Henry's comparing that to at all. It's just the first thing that you're like, what's bad? That also was bad. My
Well,
comic set.
It's bad in a way that's hard to explain why it's bad.
Exactly, which is like to a person who's not a comic, they're like, you'll get him next time. You're like, that was the worst part of my entire existence.
And you don't
Ever.
really realize that. You walk out and you're like, that just happened.
That just happened. Yeah, you close your eyes for a second while your eyes are open, and then you do your thing, and then you're done with your thing, and you're like, what happened? Did I do good?
Did I do good? Am I
How did I
okay?
do? And it's not like you. It's like you weren't there. you went to the bathroom during your set. You're like, how was it? Was I okay? Did I do good? You're like, weren't you just on stage saying all of that shit, dude?
You feel like you should feel worse. You're like, so I just go home. The next day, I have to go to work again at 4 a.m, and it's the night of the Austin Freeze, where a lot of the city got shut down. But to me,
Was this when Ted Cruz went on vacation?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm caught up with the timeline.
To me, it was cold and it was wet, so it was very, very. It had that bitter, cold feeling to it. But to me, the roads weren't that icy. So it was my second day at work, and I was the only person who showed up for work.
Because all the other Austin people were like, "Oh man, I ain't going out there."
And the funny thing, my boss was from Norway, so he.
What? Norway. Yeah, I got here on time actually.
He was actually a cool. He was the only one who showed up, and I spent the whole day with him, and he turned out to be a really cool guy. We got along great. Old, just a good dad, a funny guy, just a good guy. But he was from Norway, where it's like cold and wet all the time.
Yeah, so he was used to that shit.
And he loved me because I was his newest employee, and I showed up for work.
And you came.
But that whole day, what I knew, because like I said, I've been in therapy since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And I knew that, like, if I cannot let this haunt me. So what I did that whole next day, every second of every day from the moment I waked up, I replayed every moment of that bombing like a record in my head over and over and over and over until there was nothing more I could learn from it. And when I saw it, it's why when people will play it at mics, sometimes people bring it up at mics.
Oh, really?
It's still uncomfortable for me to hear, but I can watch it.
They play it?
Yeah, though it's happened like 3 times.
Oh.
But to me, that was why it was. I learned so much. You should have seen me when I started before I came back from Denver. I'm a different comic.
Yeah.
I had way too much manic energy on stage.
Well, I mean, from like when I see you perform now versus your Kiltony set, it's 100% different. You're controlled. You're calm. You deliver your jokes the way that you intended to deliver them instead of getting up there and just kind of just having too much. And that's how I feel sometimes. It's just like, that's why I read out of my book all the fucking time. Is because I am so scatterbrained to the. And listen, I'll be real with you. Smoking dabs before I go on stage probably doesn't help. That's
Sometimes
probably,
it does. Like that night I saw you at Wide Right last week. I went up there.
Usually helps me, but like people are like, that probably doesn't help, and you're like, you're right.
Depends.
You're
Depends.
right.
I was high
You're
the
so
first
right.
year and a half I did comedy. I was high every set.
Yeah, I haven't been. I mean, I've been sober before doing comedy, but it's because I haven't had weed on me. If I had weed on me, it's.
And you're still looking. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's
I'm
going
still
on?
like, does anybody have a dab pen I can hit? Like, I want to be able to smoke before I go on stage because it's just the way that I started doing it. It's the way that I did comedy when I first started in the beginning of the year. I was just fucking. I've been stoned. Why should I? And I've done it before sober, and there's not like a significant difference of me being stoned versus me not being high and doing comedy. But I just like.
Are you funny?
I like
That's all,
getting
I mean,
stoned.
that's all. Like, are you funny? And for me, I'm rarely high when I go on stage because I just like to be sober. I already get a drug by getting hypomanic on stage.
Yeah, right. Like that happens.
And I want to
for some
harness that. Like
people.
Robin Williams, people say he's out of control. I'm like, no, he's actually super in control.
Yeah, because he knows where he is.
I was at Rover last night, and it was the first night I let some of that, because that energy, when it comes back, like I went in, were you at Rover last night?
I was at Rover last night, but I showed up like late, like 9:45-ish.
I went up early, and the crowd was great. It was hot. 3 or 4, and I had not had a crowd at Rover like that in literally, I think, over a year.
Really?
Because I usually get up there late because I'm at other mics.
Yeah. See, I got off of work and I was like, oh, I hope it's not late enough.
And I went up
I'm not
there.
too late.
And I was like, I'm just gonna fucking destroy. I was gonna do new jokes. I'm like, fuck that. I haven't had a hot crowd. And I went up there.
And you did the shit that you knew.
Exactly. From the bombing, that's what I learned from bombing. I had to learn how to control the energy. And that's why sometimes I come out with too little energy. I'll go like depressed almost.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a way you can then bring it up when you need to, it changed it. That bombing to me was like the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, because it gave you hindsight in a different.
It's also like
shoes.
if I'm doing it after this, I'm not a hack anymore. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not just doing this to get famous on Kill Tony. So I knew I took that next day off, but then that next day I'm like, you have to go out to a mic. You have to. And I'm so glad I did because it was kind of cool that the start, like within 6 weeks of moving to Austin, I bombed on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
But that shows what you're doing, which is going out there and trying, which is
That's a huge
being a comic.
being an idiot. If you can learn to be okay with being an idiot on stage, and also people being mad at you.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of jokes about women, and some of them come from an angry place, and that's not okay, and that can come off as a bad way at times. But often, I love when I get like the boyfriend to die laughing, and the girlfriend's like, eh.
Yeah, right? Like you have a dynamic of people. One likes the joke, the other one's like, why are you laughing at that? And like honestly, for me, I'm a very silly comic. Like my jokes aren't extremely intricate. Like I don't have jokes that
That's why you'll get
touch
booked.
on very touchy subjects. It's my jokes are about shoving Tic Tacs down my penis, or like cotton candy grapes and what could be next. It's stupid. My jokes are dumb and silly and ridiculous, and they don't come from a place where I'm like, I want to talk about this and I want to get my true feelings out to the crowd. Like I'm really just trying to make people giggle. That's what I really want. Is like I just want to make people laugh with things that I see driving down the road that I'm like, that make me giggle, that I'm like, that could make somebody else giggle. I don't want to like, I don't know, rant to people. That's what I feel like some comedy is, like people trying to get across their personal feelings when it comes to like just being jokes. But I don't know. I guess it's so different in my perspective because of the way that I write comedy, which is just shit that doesn't matter. I write about shit that doesn't matter.
Dude,
I write about shit that doesn't happen. Like
I love
make
that.
up stuff. I make stuff up. I've never put Guinness in somebody's kid's milk just to make it brown so it looks like chocolate milk because I didn't want to go into the fridge and get the chocolate syrup. I've never done that, but it's a funny idea, It's just weird because like I've not been doing this for a long time, and I don't know where that's gonna go. I don't know if I'm going to like. I don't know if I'm gonna be a different joke writer in 2 years. In 2 years? Am I gonna be like talking about things that I want people to know? Like, am I gonna be like a speech comic, or am I gonna be still doing jokes about like pooping pink starbursts? I don't know.
Does it matter? One of the things I think I've come to realize is, because I've been in therapy for so long, and bipolar's been such an invasive part of my life. So many of my jokes that really hit were on that, because I wanted to bring a topic that is often misrepresented and doesn't make sense and people have a bad view on, and make fun of it, bring light to it. But that's the weird thing. Most dark comics, like I do a lot of dark comedy, but I don't think I'm that dark.
Yeah, when it comes to other people that do dark comedy, you don't really think you toe the line.
No, and one of the things that, like, I do have some more lighthearted jokes, which that's going to help you early on. That's why you get on shows. I've probably been booked on a total of like 4 shows in my whole life, in my whole 3 years I've done comedy.
Like your career, yeah.
Just because I think it's one, it's like not as funny as other people. I think also moving, there's a lot of reasons, and I want to own all of them. And it's up to me in the end. But one of it is because I didn't have that. So I've had to sometimes look at how do I take something light and make that funny.
Yeah.
And if you want to rant, start a podcast. So much of my podcast is just me fucking talking, and it does help.
About, things that you feel.
A lot of it's mental illness, because I would say having a mental illness is like, in a very similar way, as like being in a wheelchair full time. It's such an invasive part of your life in a way that most people will never understand. And that's like not a bad thing.
No.
I'm glad. It's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like I said, I'm sure you've heard my jokes about me and my cousin. Like I've had 3 cousins die from this illness.
From mental illness.
Yeah, and very like young, like before 40.
Damn.
And that's like super super common. And trying to find ways to bring that into people's lives in a fun way, but then also just talk about things. I love ideas. I wanted to be a professor. I wanted to go and teach people. I loved academia.
What did you want to teach?
I probably would have taught history, or
Okay.
I really, really liked mathematics in some sense.
Really?
I did. I didn't like the institutions they were a part of.
Okay.
and I'm a really disagreeable and polite person. So, and I'm
Yeah.
very politically incorrect.
Okay, I heard.
I'm a good guy, and that's
Yeah.
like most people. I've had people in the Denver comedy scene will even say like, "You may not know John on the surface, but if you come and talk to me, I'm a very like compassionate person." For
Oh,
almost
absolutely.
everybody.
And it's nonstop. When my girlfriend is like, John Henry, very nice dude, super personable. Like whenever you like have conversations with her, she just feels like it's nice for someone to go out of their way to talk to her because
I'm glad that
they
means a lot.
She feels like she's not, she's not a comic. She's just there hanging out, supporting me. So a lot of people have like a different energy, but you come over very like just like personable. So
I was good because I was worried.
It
I was
comes
high,
off,
and I
dude.
was like, "Am I talking too much to Jacob's girlfriend?"
No, it shows, and that's the thing. People, depending on who they are, people respect that, and like my girlfriend is overstimulated easily, but like with people like you have a pretty calm demeanor whenever it comes to just meeting new people, and she thought you were extremely personable, and then it comes to like meeting other people in the scene that she's just like that's a lot. That's a lot, and I don't really. I'm just gonna go.
You know who I feel feels that way, and this is not to start. I think so. I'm friends with a lot of people who are friends with Josh DeWay, very funny comedian.
Oh, I love Josh. Yeah,
Josh is great. I think Josh thinks I'm funny and respects me in a lot of ways, but I think I put him on edge because I just have so much energy, and I think the world. I think he's so funny. He's a huge hero for me.
Josh just doesn't want you to have like a backpack around him.
Yeah. Well, it's just I have a lot of energy, and when it was the night I got high after that set. I was talking to Adam Pena, who I'm good friends with.
Yeah,
too loud.
Adam's a cool dude. I went to him a couple days ago. I go, I look up to you. I look up to you.
Dude, he's my
so cool.
outdoor. He's an outdoors guy.
Yeah, he's a dope ass. He's a firefighter.
We talk about elk hunting. I'm a guy.
Yeah, what animals do you kill, bro?
Kill. I don't kill. I'm bad at hunting. I like to hunt. I'm not very good. I've hunted.
You've never killed one, right?
I've big game hunted, which is like mule deer, but mainly elk. Mule deer and mainly elk for going on 5 years now, and I've never gotten anything. It's a tough sport.
Me and you, dude. I've never hunted before though, so but we are same record.
But one of the biggest things, so I went to a school. In my high school was like 50% LGBTQ, and so I didn't date in high school.
That's a good fucking.
I was
good
around
percentage.
them. I had crushes on 5 different lesbians throughout high school.
I mean, that's at that point, date a dude. You know, at that point,
I
look
tried.
inwards.
Yeah.
I tried. Didn't work out.
Wasn't quite there.
I get it.
And it taught me how to be friends with women, and that was like a big plus. And like the first girl I fell in love with, I ended up being friends with for like a year, which was probably not the best thing to do, because I just couldn't let go.
Yeah, I get that.
But
I mean, I've been in a relationship for 6 years, but I could understand where you're coming from.
women in relationships are so easy to talk to too. That's what I've learned trying to talk.
Especially if they're in good relationships, because they want nothing from you other than a conversation.
And they'll be willing to talk. Like if you go out to some, I'm not a huge, but I can approach women.
Yeah.
And when you approach them, they just go, no.
No. And you're like, don't worry.
It's like
I'm off the market.
Biggest kick in the
If
balls.
I had enough money, I'd wear a ring.
Just to know. You don't even be like, but.
I feel like it disarms. 100%. It does.
All power to them. Like women have to set boundaries. It's not like a complaint with that. But
yeah, and not every dude deserves a yes. You know, a lot of dudes deserve a no, and a lot of women, most women, let's go with all women, have the right to say no whenever it comes to a dude being like, "Hey, how's it going?" But like,
absolutely,
I think it disarms people when they find out that I'm in a relationship, and I'm like, if I'm approaching somebody. Let's say, like, I've seen somebody's comedy, and I go up to them and I say, hey, like, I'm a huge fan of your comedy. I don't feel like it's very, like, scary. Well, also, I'm not scary. I look 14. Yeah, I'm a little boy. So, like, I don't really have that issue.
You're such a nice guy. You're such a nice person,
well,
too.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I try to treat everybody like they're my nana. That's my thing. It's just, like...
I try to be honest with
you. If you were my nana, would I be being nice to you right now? If my nana smoked weed, I'd give her a dab, you know? So, like, that's what I try to do to everybody. Do you want a dab? I'd love to give you a dab.
You want to be my nana?
You know?
I want you to be my nana.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing is, like, I treat everybody the way that I think my nana would want to be treated. and that's done me well. Like it works out. And then when people are, I give the energy that people deserve, right? So if somebody hits me with energy that's like obviously not good, I'm not gonna continue being the nicest person to this person, you know?
Well, and
I'll reciprocate.
You have to have boundaries.
Yeah,
That's a huge
absolutely.
thing with me. I'm actually a too honest person, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. And sometimes I try to be as honest all the time, just because then that's my boundary. Like if there's stuff between, I don't like backstabbing and stuff. If we have an issue with each other, let's like let it be known.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
It's why
let's make it not an issue.
Exactly. And sometimes I'm very not good at reading. One of the others, I'm not very good at reading signals from people.
Yeah, like visual cues.
Yes.
Yeah, heard. I need to be told. I need words.
Same.
I need words, and I also need like, it comes to like learning stuff. I can't be told directions and then be like, "You got that right." Be like, "No, you need to come with me and show me." Like,
if you tell me to shut up, I'll shut up.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but I can't. Same thing that you're talking about. I can't see somebody and them give me visual cues for me to stop talking and know that they'll want me to stop talking. I can't. That's not a language I understand. You know, somebody would have to be like, "You're talking too much," and then I'll be like, "All right, heard."
That's me, and I think
I have to be told.
That's what it literally happened. The other day. I was talking to Adam in the back of Wide Right, really loud.
Is this JB?
I was gonna wait for you to ask.
Is that JB Weld on your cup, dude?
Dude, it's like that flex glue.
Is flex glue? Did the handle come off?
I literally, I told this to people. I have a pretty strong grip. I do a lot of like hand exercises for jiu-jitsu and stuff.
Okay.
And
I'm a climber.
it came off. It ripped off, and I'm like, I like this cup too much, and I don't have the money to buy a new one. So I was like, flex glue, and yeah.
I remember
I made a Stanley that looks like a sorority girl should carry it all the time, and I made it look ghetto as fuck.
Dude, it looks like what's his name? It looks like one of Ted Kaczynski's cups that he would bring around with him. It looks like you used venom to like hold this together. Didn't you have a hydro flask the other day that you were drinking out of that you had to
yeah, I still have
you
it.
had to play it like a trumpet?
Yeah.
You had to play it like a trumpet to get some water out of the straw because it was beat to high hell. It looks like you dropped it off El Capitan.
It's so weird because I wasn't raised poor. I hope you know that.
Weren't?
I was raised in an upper middle class. Like my mom was a nurse and my dad worked for the government. Like
that's gang, son.
But it wasn't. It was weird. But because my dad grew up poor and so did my grandpa.
So he was like, no more of this.
He would, and my dad's amazing with his money and he's super disciplined. And I would spend it on stuff like computers and shit. And he would scream at me. So I'm very, through the anxiety.
You traumatized?
Traumatized about spending money. So I'm very good with my money. And then I decided not to, like I studied computer science, mathematics, and Japanese language in college. And I'd probably, if I would go back, I'd do my PhD in mathematics. I had like a 3.7 GPA at CU Boulder.
Dude, mine was in the twos. I did not go to college though. Are you a high intellectual?
I like that. I was always kind of a quirky guy, like quirky professor.
Yeah.
But after COVID, especially when the university system and the institution is you have to go along to get along, and I'm a person who would speak out a lot. And I realized, especially after COVID, where I already butted heads with the administration tons of times, like at all, because I was a person who I was writing. Not formal. I wasn't being like harassing. Yeah. But I was being very vocal about my distaste for how things were shut down because I lived in an international dorm. And so all my friends were from out of the country. And so when COVID happened, I lost all my friends. And it was the first time in my life I had a friend group and I lost it. And so
Did they go back to
their home countries?
Their home countries?
And
bro, you were upset about COVID lockdowns because your friends went home?
Well, mainly also then because that was the first depressive episode I had in bipolar. I was depressed for probably a year and a half.
And going into COVID and stuff, that's not a good time.
No, going into COVID was the best time of my life. That's why at CU Boulder, when I moved up there, it was right after I fell in love. I fell in love for the first time, broke my heart, but then I turned it around. And I started to have some success in school and find my way. I had friends for the first time. I just turned 21. I was having a great time in my life. I love Boulder, and then it ended, and it was the worst time of my life, and I hated Boulder. So every time I go up there, it's confusing because it's just the extremes of both.
Yeah.
And
I love rock.
I love the university. I wanted to go, and after how they handled things, I'm like, we're
separating. We're going different ways.
So
in this college.
That's what started the podcast. I wanted to talk to people and get better at talking.
See, I went to sounds like I was going to say a school, right? Nope. I went to Boulder when I visited here, and it was pretty. That's all I had.
Dude, it's the prettiest. It's one of the most gorgeous campuses in the world. That's where I fell in love with the outdoors. I was a huge dork in high school.
Trees. Oh, were you like an inside dude?
I was from
Go touch grass.
from pretty much age 11 to 19.
Yeah.
And then before that, severely addicted to video games. I'd play like 10 to 12 hours a day.
What'd you play?
Let's
go wrap
I
it up.
love.
Let's go.
Oh God, I was a huge Legend of Zelda fan.
Oh, Legend of Zelda.
I 100%ed.
I'm a first-person shooter guy.
All but 4. Massive Halo fan. Love Borderlands.
Yes. Oh, Borderlands is good. Did you like the movie? Did you watch it?
No, I heard it was
shite.
bad.
Don't watch it. It was garbage. Rubbish. It was rubbish. Absolute
I
rubbish.
loved Destiny. I loved Assassin's Creed.
Destiny's a bit of a liberal for me.
It wasn't at first.
You mean the game?
The game.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Thought you meant the political analyst online.
No, I mean the game. The old
You
game.
said the N-word before. No, yeah, I never played any of those. I've played a lot of Call of Dupes, Call of
I was
Duty.
never Call of Duty guy. I was always a Halo guy.
Halo, dude. Yep, loved Halo. Halo Forge was my shit. Halo Reach.
Halo
Forge on Halo Reach, it was dope. I loved
the sandbox.
Fucking around. Yeah, that was fun. And then little Fortnite once it came out.
I never played Fortnite. The last game I played was...
It was in a garage in high school. It was in a buddy of mine's garage. But we took turns. We passed the controller around. I wasn't a hog.
It's the one drug. It's the only drug I can't do.
Fortnite?
No, video games. I wanted to play the new
Fortnite.
Legend of Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom, and I wanted to play... I was a big...
Tears of the Kingdom, dude. That sounds metal as fuck.
It's awesome. It's too fun. And then I was a big JRPG guy, games that you have 14 hours of cutscenes.
JRPG. Junior Parental Guidance. I think I nailed that one.
Japanese RPG.
Japanese?
These Japanese games
Watashi wa
literally...
shindayu.
Shindai.
Watashi wa shindayu.
Shindai.
What does that mean?
Shindai. No, let's call. Let me look up. Shindai. I know watashi wa is I. So it's I. Shindai.
What's going on there? I'm testing Pat's joke now.
Shindai.
He said he learned a Japanese thing.
Shindai.
Watashi wa shindayu.
I'm a bed.
I'm a bed? I'm already dead?
As for me, bed. Karada. Shindai. What do you say? What does he say?
He says watashi wa shindayu.
Shindai.
Shindayu. Do I have to say it with that inflection?
I don't think that shindayu. Shindayu. That doesn't sound.
Can I say watashi wa shindayu?
What is the context around what he's saying?
I'm already dead.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, Shinu.
Sorry.
Oh.
Shindayu.
Shin.
Maybe, dude.
So
I don't know. I took
infectious.
German in high school. I'm not sure. How high are my socks right now?
Shinda. Shinda. Watashi wa shinda.
Watashi wa shinda. I'm so sorry. I can't stop doing the inflection when I say those words.
Shindai.
Watashi wa shindayu. Watashi wa shindai.
Teiru.
Watashi wa I'm just gonna be done. I'm gonna be done.
Shinderu.
My
Oh.
hands are so
Watashi wa shinderu.
Okay,
So,
that's pretty good.
That's
That's not bad, dude. You sound like you practiced that.
I've studied Japanese for like 5 years.
I was on the money, dude. Sound like you practiced that.
Shinderu.
That's interesting. What does it mean, John Henry?
Shinderu.
I need for you to translate it for me to perfect English.
Shinderu. So basically, watashi is I.
I.
And wa is called a particle. And what that is you know how there's relations between words? Like, we have articles like a, the, stuff like that.
Okay.
Particles do relations between words. So anything that comes before wa is the topic. So watashi wa is I.
Okay.
Now, to die is shinu.
Okay.
But in Japanese has like some like 24, some crazy number of ways you conjugate things.
Insane.
It's insane.
How are you remembering all of this?
It's tough.
That is extremely tough.
And one of the forms you can
Barely
do
speak
is like
English.
a current state. So you can make any verb like tateru would be like I am standing. Tate is to would be tatsu would be to stand. But if you go tateru, that's like I am standing. I'm in the process of standing.
Wow.
So he says
already standing. I am standing. I'm
watashi
going
wa
to stand.
shinde iru is like shindeiru is like I am in the like I am currently dead. I am dead. But if you want to say I'm already dead, he would have to say watashi wa mo shinderu. But mo, I think you couldn't use mo because of the conjugation ending. I'm not even sure you could say that. But
That's crazy.
I'd have to double check.
To be real with you, John Henry, he was close enough for me to be like, Pat, you got it. That was good. Yeah.
Who?
yeah
Pat?
Pat Trujillo.
I'm gonna say watashi wa shinderu.
Yeah, dude. Say that to him. He'll know what he'll know what you're talking about.
Shinderu.
He'll know what you're saying.
Shinderu.
Are you? What is your? What's your sketch tonight? Comedy.
I actually have I have a date this week.
Let's go.
Dude.
You going tonight?
I got potentially 3 dates this week. Actually, I've been
like with women?
yeah on Hinge. Basically,
Okay, all
I
right.
don't even call them. I call them date zeros because they're not on Hinge. I'm the kind of person who says like something funny,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will be immediately like, hey. Let's meet up in person.
Yeah,
I don't want to waste
go
our
get
time
some
on this
coffee.
apps. So I had 3 of those there because I don't know. I had an interesting date last week. You want to hear about it?
Let's go, dude. Give me the info. Give me the deets. That's what
So
they say.
it was a second date. It was kind of second time I'm seeing this girl. We're going to
Can we give her a fake name? Let's do fake name.
we'll do Catherine.
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 Seems like a nice lady. I'm gonna call her Kathy.
We're gonna call him Kathy. Yes, Kathy. So I had already met Kathy once.
Kathy.
And
Catherine's her government name, but Kathy's.
We got coffee. And
Kathy got coffee with John.
and she did. And then we were just gonna go get just dinner at this Thai food place.
Nice. All right.
We go there.
What do you go for when you get Thai food?
There's this place called Suvita Thai
Okay.
on Federal, right? It's like 10 minutes from here. It's amazing Thai food. It's also affordable. It's cheap. I
What's
usually
your
go there
order?
pad Thai. I did pad Thai. I
pad
think they
Thai?
did their pad Thai woo. I
Okay.
think it's called.
Woo!
I'm trying to be more adventurous with spice, so I got their a medium spicy, so not like the spiciest, but medium spicy.
Okay.
And it was spicy for
Was
me.
it hot still? Yeah.
It was still hot. I'm a white guy, so you take.
Yeah,
take-
dude,
take-
buffalo wings are hot for me.
I used to be there. I've been working my way up,
Can't do that shit.
and it was
you
fun.
And, you and Catherine get Thai food?
We're getting Thai food. Sorry, I got a little high thought there.
Don't worry, I'm getting you fucking obliterated.
I know,
today,
we're
so I
getting
understand.
obliterated.
I get it.
So Kathy and I have dinner, and she asks, I don't know if she put it up, but what are your past relationships? Have you had a serious relationship with a woman? Long term, I think is what her phrasing. And I was like, no, I just like I said, high school, I didn't date, just not an option.
Also, you're 26.
And in college, like it was COVID, and so I was going through some shit.
And a comic.
I'm luckily not as like I don't have compared to a lot of guys my age. I do have some decent amount of experience, but nothing with long term. And she's like, I'm not looking for that right now. And luckily, I've been on enough dates to be like, oh, no issue. But it was kind of cool because then like I guess trauma dumped on her for a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And
You just went, and then the thing just went like that.
it
and
was
you
actually
let it
we
out.
had a good conversation. It was
good.
I think she realized some like she said she was a perfectionist, and I told her about comedy and how you just bombing's part of the process.
Yeah, and how you feel like, well, being a perfectionist is a big part of comedy.
And
Like,
looking like an idiot is how you become good at it.
absolutely. Yeah, you have. Yeah, and that's unfortunately. You
I
have to
have
practice
fought.
in
Do you know
front
why
of your
I know how to fight? So I've done martial arts since I was 11 for probably 15 years now.
mirror. Damn. Do they put you in therapy before they put you in martial arts?
Dude, martial arts was the greatest thing I ever did. I would be dead on the floor without martial arts.
Oh, that's nice.
My master was the first person who, first masculine guy who believed in me.
Really?
And it was everything. He's the reason I'm so disciplined. I owe everything
What did you
to him.
start off doing?
I started doing a form of, my master actually invented it. It was basically a form. He was a Taekwondo guy. And when he was in the South Korean military, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure he integrated more boxing. And so it was kind of a Taekwondo, because Taekwondo suffers from some just stylistic matchups and things like MMA. And he integrated that with boxing. Like, Taekwondo doesn't have a ton of hand combinations.
Okay, it's a lot of kicking.
A lot of kicking. There are some, but not like boxing. But he mixed in boxing with his. So it was more like a form of Korean kickboxing. It was called Sundal Sol.
Okay.
And I did that for 6 years. It's actually how I found out about Joe Rogan.
Really?
Yes, Joe. I want to ask Joe Rogan if he knew my master or ever competed with him, because they're about the same age.
Okay, cool.
And Joe's a Taekwondo guy. Joe has a black belt in Taekwondo, and he used to compete in Taekwondo competitions. And my master used to. That's when I first saw Joe Rogan. He was just the martial arts guy.
News radio.
And it's why I'm a huge. Joe is I consider him. You're gonna have trouble finding people at his level of martial arts intelligence, just in what's happened in the sport and the sport itself. Very, very high level martial artists in all aspects.
Dude, no, Brendan Schaub.
Brendan Schaub is one of his good friends, and also
I'm fucking with you.
Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna defend Brendan Schaub. That guy can fucking fight.
Yeah, he can. He
really
can.
well. He
can't tell a joke.
He
for
was
shit,
a
but
top
he can
10
fight.
competitor in UFC, and
He's a very good fighter.
When you're in, I don't remember his highest ranking. I don't know if he may have even competed for the belt. He may have competed for the belt once. I'm not sure. I don't want to What you think about his comedy? When people say he's not that good of a fighter, he wasn't things scale exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
So most fighters, if a top 10 fighter in the UFC is probably thousands of times better than someone at my level.
Yeah,
it's
regular fighter.
For me, and I used to. I mean, I was never as high level as someone like Joe Rogan, but I did train with professional. I did help. I was on a camp for professional fighters. Drew Johnson is his name.
Okay.
And so I was up there, and those people at that altitude, and I kind of forgot what I was talking about. Fuck.
No. Brendan Schaub and the way that he fights.
Oh yeah,
versus the way people
had him.
talk about it.
Joe
versus
had him
me.
come off of MMA because at that level you're getting seriously hurt, and he had some knockouts that were just pretty brutal and not as tactical.
To him.
Yes, there's a whole episode of everyone crying as Joe is trying to get Brendan Schaub to drop out of fighting.
Really?
Yeah, it's a big. The thing about Brendan Schaub is that people feel like his connections in martial arts are all due to his friends.
Heard.
But like that.
It's like a nepotism type situation.
If you don't think he's funny, that's fine. But people do, and that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every comedian has an audience, dude. Especially at someone he's at a level where some comedians wish they were. He's.
You could lock him with literally 99% of anyone in the planet in a cage, and he's going to kill them. That a top 10 fighter in the UFC is thousand times better than me.
Yeah.
It's so incomprehensible, and so he's not that good of a fighter. It's like
no, he's a good fighter.
No, he's a very good fighter. He's just at those levels, there's a small group of people that are just world class.
Yeah.
And
that you don't put somebody like that
world
up
champions
against a world champion.
And he was just a step below that, actually in that category, in the top 10. Most people aren't ever champions. A very tiny minority. He just wasn't a championship level fighter.
Yeah.
And he was at that highest level, but he was a step below that. But that's still so high of a level that I have I'm not even I don't want to say I'm not I think he's funny. I'm not a massive fan though,
Not
but
like
as
a
a
huge
martial
dude,
artist,
yeah.
I have to defend him you don't know that is a fucking world class martial artist, and you can shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, he's got really, really good shit under his belt.
That's like saying John Henry's not that good of a fighter. I'm like, I don't know too many people in the scene who want to fight me though.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Put somebody up that you know against you. No one will come out.
The only one has been
okay.
Big Mike. Big Mike, because he's kind of boxed, but he says he has bad knees. And him and I give shit about this because he was also an athlete and he did do some boxing. So that's a fun thing, but most people are like, "Oh yeah, he's not that good of a fighter." Like, yeah, you want to get in a fucking ring with me? I'll kick the shit out of your fucking legs.
Yeah, because you know exactly what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
I know it from the first time I'm throwing a jab.
Other people have no fucking clue. They've only watched movies, and they're like, I could do that. I could totally do that.
Do you ever see the big wide punches?
Yeah.
Those are not how you punch.
No.
The hook, and this is going to show you how big of a dork I am because I'm going to pick up the mic because we got to think. The hook is not like this wet. It's a very tight. It's when you're up close.
Yep.
Like this.
Yeah. You're not pulling your arm out.
It's like a circular punch. It's vertical. It's not that. If you want to do a straight punch
you're not going to you're not going to come across somebody, especially in the comedy scene, that will even take the card of fighting John Henry. No one's going to be like, "Oh, yeah, I'll try."
I think Dave, Ness, and Dana came up to me once, and it was entirely playful.
Yeah.
And I'm great at that, and so they kind of come up, and they just kind of play box, you know? And I get in there, and I start to play box back, but I'm throwing stuff, but just from my rhythm. Like, a lot of people don't, you hide behind your jab. So I start throwing jabs, and I'll sort of throw them in different spots.
Yeah, you go down, up, in the middle.
And then and the other thing is, and then I came in, I tapped it, and I tapped his leg. Like, I didn't kick his leg.
No.
I showed him I could
Who,
do it.
Dana?
Dana, yeah, it was all it was playful. This wasn't like a fight. It was very playful.
Yeah.
But they realized in the play I was just showing them.
Like, no.
I wasn't used to it because what I realized was I was so used to fighting. I've always competed at pretty high level gyms since I trained at CU Boulder. Because I've gotten to meet one of the first. He's one of the Dirty Dozen, the first black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Bob Bass, and train with him. He's the coolest fucking guy.
Hey, what are your thoughts on Steven Seagal?
I don't know about this. What about that?
You know Steven Seagal? You don't know Steven
Isn't
Seagal?
he like director?
Well, Steven Seagal is he's an amalgam of people. He's like 17 people put into one, you know? All right, so Steven Seagal used to do old movies, very along the lines of like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect to Jean-Claude Van Damme because he's a legend. But if you're thinking of like a parody of a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that was trying to be serious,
what is that about? I don't know what that is even. I'm not a movie guy. Teach. I told you I wanted you to teach me
I got
something
you,
on
dude.
this
This
podcast.
is my favorite. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hey, I'm on a podcast. How you doing? You good?
I'm good. Just got out of Venom.
Oh, you like Venom?
Yeah, it was good.
It was fucking great. All right, I love you. I'll talk to you soon, but I'm on a podcast. I'm about to explain Jean-Claude Van Damme movies versus Steven Seagal movies.
Okay.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too. Good chat.
Bye.
All right, bye. That's Pops. All right, so IMDb. I'm gonna show you first. I'm gonna show you Jean-Claude.
Steven Seagal, like I know the name, and I've probably seen some of his movies.
You probably have because they're everywhere. But like a Double Impact is one of Jean-Claude Van Damme's movies, right? So like it's one of those old like he does side kicks, like where he like jumps up in the air and both legs go out and he kicks two people at one time. Like they're super cool.
I know. Yeah.
Like they're dope ass action movies.
Kind of like Kill Bill.
He was in Street Fighter. Like he did the Street Fighter movie.
You know what did this is Kill Bill. Kill Bill had this.
Okay, so yeah,
Do you
sort
remember,
of,
like,
but not as campy that Quentin Tarantino made it, right? But very much along the lines of like just karate movies. But shit, Steven Seagal is nowhere close to as good as what Kill Bill was. Like Kill Bill was fantastic. Kill Bill was amazing.
But I think it was a commentary. That was the thing. Like some of the action in that, it was good. And I think the reason that movie made me appreciate stupid combat because I used to be fucking an asshole. That I'm like, that's not real.
That's not real.
That's not
Movie
real.
combat and like movie fighting and stunt fighting is fucking sick. So this is Steven Seagal on Deadly Ground, right? So Steven Seagal used to be an actor. He was in a bunch of different roles, and I'm gonna read you his biography. Stephen Frederick Seagal was born in Lansing, Michigan, and he okay. I don't need to know about his paternal grandparents.
Where did you go?
IMDb, dude, International Movie Database. It's my favorite app. I do it for fun.
Oh, that's what that stands for?
International Movie Database, yeah. IMDb.
Oh my god.
Let's go. It's literally like I don't have games. I have this. This is what I spend my time on. The enigmatic Seagal commenced his martial arts training at the age of 7 under the tutelage of well-known karate instructor and author Fumio Demura, and in the 1960s commenced his Aikido training in Orange County, California. He's a huge Aikido guy. All right?
Aikido, okay.
Under the instructions of Harry Ishisaka. Harry Ishisaka. Seagal received his first Dan accreditation. Jesus fucking Christ. I got so high. His first Dan credit
So did I, dude.
in 1974 after he moved to Japan to further his martial arts training. So he moved to Japan. Weeb. After he spent many years honing his skills, he achieved the ranking of a 7th Dan in the Japanese martial art Aikido, and was instructing wealthy clients in Los Angeles when he came back to the attention of Hollywood power broker Michael Ovitz. That dude casted him in a bunch of movies. But Steven Seagal basically is like a dude, like as of now, like right now, he is a Russian citizen. He lives in Russia, and he is a Russian citizen because he loves Putin. He and Putin, BFFs, dude. He loves
I love
Vladimir
this guy.
Putin.
This guy's so fun.
He's so crazy. So he, as of like now, he's a master in everything. Like if you like, he used to. Holy shit! I'm totally forgetting. He was a cop. He was a cop, and he had a show. He had a show on A&E where he went in Louisiana with other cops, and he would go around Louisiana, and he would do cop stuff with these police officers, like he was a cop. He's not a cop. He's a actor and martial arts guy. And if you've ever watched, like, if you see clips of Steven Seagal doing Aikido, he's just kind of like pushing people around. They're like coming at him, and he's just like, huh. And they're like, oh, and then they fall over.
Oh.
And it's so produced. It looks so
Do
produced.
you know about
It looks like Bushido.
Do you know about McDojo Life?
McDojo Life? Is that the dude who's like, and then I stabbed my hand?
No, McDojo Life is so here it's on Instagram. McDojo Life is a great Instagram channel. If you ever want, they basically all these like, I don't know about Steven Seagal, so I'm not saying that about that.
No,
but there's so many, and these used to be
relates.
huge in the night. Like before the internet, these used to be huge. My shout out to Brian Scott, who's my trainer from Sea Boulder, best martial artist I know. I love him. He told me about a lot of the groups that had this like cult, like they'd get in like, oh, our master, he did all this, and they didn't actually train.
Like they just followed.
And
this
some of them
dude.
are really manipulative sexually, and so this is the person who runs it, but it's really fan submissions of the really great martial artists. Who are like, look how crazy this is. This doing all these crazy things, crazy mishaps, make fun ofs.
Okay.
And so many of those, like, I don't know about Steven Seagal. But Aikido was always a martial arts that never, like, if you want to know what a martial arts that work, look at what's in MMA, because that's what happened. Aikido is great when no one knows like how to fight, but it involves a lot of risk controls that I'd say this, there are no bad martial arts, only bad martial artists.
Okay.
And so there's things that will work when, but like if you fight, like if someone tried to fight me with Aikido, you have to like grab my wrist, and it relies a ton. Like, and if I'm not gonna let you grab my wrist, I'm gonna stay here with my hands up and trying to.
You're not going to be able to use that martial arts against
wrestlers.
that
You
person.
put the best Aikido guys. You put them up against any wrestler. The wrestler's gonna kick their fucking ass.
Yeah. Because one martial art overpowers another. No, like,
Well,
depending
no,
on what
they
it
found
is.
out what worked. What really works, like in fighting. That's what UFC was. They're like, everyone says, because you used to have so many of these, we're the best martial arts. No, we're the best martial arts.
Yeah.
No, we're. And so then
Jiu-jitsu and boxing.
jiu-jitsu, boxing, karate, taekwondo, you had all these different, and they're like, okay, get in the ring and prove it.
Wow.
And that's what MMA came in. They found out pretty much what works, and there's exceptions and extreme cases as there is.
Because it's mixed.
What works is boxing and kickboxing, wrestling and jiu-jitsu. That's what works.
Boxing, kickboxing, wrestling,
jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu. So that's
There's
UFC.
elements of there's some judo stuff, but past that, stuff like Aikido, like it works great when if someone does not know how to fight, they're gonna fuck you up. They're gonna throw you on the ground.
Yeah.
It's good at defense. Like the redirection of
Aikido is all redirection. It's
but against someone who knows how to fight, you're
yeah,
not
you're
redirecting
not,
someone's
no,
fist.
you can't do that. It's not gonna work. So when it comes to UFC, like you don't see a lot of karate in MMA.
No, and I mean, but there's a lot of kicks that can be
that can be taken from karate.
exactly. The thing about karate, there's some guys. There's like Wonderboy Johnson, who's a great fucking fighter, and he stands sideways like this, like a karate guy.
Yeah.
That's very rare because I love when people do this. It's what, and as someone who came from Taekwondo, you fight because you're fighting with that kick like that. But your legs, if I show you your legs, I'm just gonna sweep your ass. You don't ever want to show someone your legs.
Yeah.
If I kick your legs, I literally kick
You're
you
out from underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately out
It's
from
why
underneath.
you see more mixed martial arts. You stand with a kind of lower stance. You also don't want to get taken down. That's why if someone wrestles, you don't want to fuck with them.
That's crazy, dude. No, if somebody wrestles and you get on the ground, you're done.
Well, or if they know jujitsu.
Or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because you're going to get in a hold that you're not going to be able to get out of.
Yeah.
Or one of those holds that you're in could
You're not going to
potentially break your arm or leg.
I've done, and I'm still a white belt in jiu-jitsu, but I've done enough of it. I've done it for probably, I haven't trained the last 3 months, but I've done it for around 3 years.
Okay.
Not like super intensively as some, though, just due to money and comedy stuff. And on the ground, unless you've done 6 months of jiu-jitsu, I could probably just tap you based on knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I've trained, and also James Very, like I've trained with one of my Charlie Minkin. I think she was. I don't know if she won, but she was an Olympian. She competed
Really?
in the Olympics. She's
Wow.
a small 5'3" white lady who
Holy shit.
is wild.
She's just a little spider monkey. She could probably just climb all over.
No,
you.
she's gonna throw you on the ground and rip your
Really?
arm off.
No shit.
Charlie Minkin, oh my God.
That's wild.
The first time I really had a conversation with her, I heard her telling a story about, I think, being raped in a bar. And she looks like your normal white, lady. She's 5'3", I'm 5 around that. And it's so hard. I can't believe she's been kicked out of, I think, or kicked out of, or banned from like 21 different bars in Denver. She is a wild lady, and so she saw my Kill Tony, and she was fucking making fun of me forever. She's like, John, we have a plumbing problem.
Did you bring a plunger with you on to Kill Tony?
No, but I just told that story.
That's right, you did, didn't you?
I changed it. It's now it's now good in a different way, but she gave me shit, and I was like, I love her so much because of what she looks like.
Ow. Dude, that's wild. Yeah, no, I can't fight for shit.
Most people can't, but I love it that you get wild people, and also that shows people who succeed at that level. That's why my only friends I can bring around comics are my fighter friends.
Really?
One of my fighter friends dated someone in the scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
crazy.
this is so much fun. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. How long do we usually go for?
As long as you can go for my
Dude,
friend.
I'm trying to go for another 45 minutes if you want. Yeah, no. I have
How long have we been?
I've had a lot of fun being in like kind of immersing myself into the scene. It's been really cool.
It's a good scene to immerse yourself in. Maybe I'm just in love with it because it was my new friend group.
Yeah, exactly. It's I mean, I moved to Colorado with nobody here. I was one person, which was my
Wait, you met your girlfriend out here?
No. I met my girlfriend. Me and Ashley met in 2018 back in South Carolina. And we've been dating ever since. So we've been together for close to this Christmas. It'll be 6 years.
Dude,
Which is wild.
you
But
guys,
she's my best friend, which is great.
I don't want to. I'm not gonna share too much, but one of the reasons I went up and talked to your girlfriend, like you mentioned earlier, was because she came to open mics, and when I saw her open mics, she didn't strike me as someone like it's not something I would invite someone to, and so I give other
know.
shit just
I'm
because
a
it's
bad person.
But no, that's how I started talking to her. I'm like, "Are you sure you don't have to be here?
You don't have to be here. Why are you here?
And
It's like
she
my
wanted to
boyfriend.
be there, and I think that was, I love. So I'm a relationship oriented person, I think, and that was like you guys were genuinely in a relationship in a way where, for our generation, what that looks like has changed so much, and you guys make it look. The biggest thing I think is you have to be. I can't imagine not being best friends with the person I'm dating.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing where I come from is like me and her we have clicked ever since we met. And I spend every single second with her. If I'm not, like nowadays, now that we're here. Back in South Carolina, dude, I had a couple of my friends from high school that still live there. Most of them moved out of South Carolina pretty early. So when I was still living there, I had my buddy Alex and Noah, but Noah eventually moved to Virginia, and Alex is still there. So I had one friend, and he worked a real big boy job. Like he works at a metal plant, so he was always at work. So I didn't really hang out with him. So it was me and Ashley all the time. We would hang out together. We'd smoke pot. We would fucking watch our shows, go to the movies, and then we'd go to work. We worked together. We worked at a barbecue restaurant.
Really, you guys worked together, and it worked.
We've worked together in 2 different restaurants, and it was probably the best time that I've had at a job because we work so well together.
That is rare.
It is extremely, and that's the nice part about.
I hate it. I
how
hate how perfect it is.
That's how I knew it was like I was all right. I didn't have to. It's
Oh.
really nice not having to worry about like, oh no, am I gonna have to find someone? Like, no, I found my person.
Dude, that
Like,
was.
I've got my best. Unless she leaves me, we're together.
Good, because I love
until
it. You guys are great together.
I die. Because I don't plan on doing. I don't plan on fucking going nowhere.
If we're going back to the date with Kathy, that's what Kathy made me realize. After COVID, because I had a lot of like tough shit that happened to me. Like, I don't think I've been open on the podcast before about this on my solo episodes, but like I had I had a school trip where I said some things after COVID that were wrong and were misinterpreted. And I was like accused of being a school shooter.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was like super. And then right after that, I took a ton of mushrooms, and that was not a good idea. And I worked through it, but I didn't.
The mushrooms wasn't a good idea.
With that.
Was that a bad trip?
It made me confront that side of myself that was scary. So it ended up being like hindsight, but it was also like some crown court joke where I say they shoved my parents had to hold me down and shove a thing up my ass.
Yeah.
That was that night.
Oh, okay. With mushrooms?
Yeah.
See, I'm telling you.
Eh.
You forage.
We call it the sombrero crown court incident.
Sombrero crown
'Cause
court incident.
I literally, I don't know for the bit, but I screamed at my family till like 1 a.m. It was like a manic psychotic break episode. I don't even remember how it happened.
I do see that is where most of your comedy comes from, where it's like things that you've been through, that you've experienced in your real life, that you're like, this is funny. And people are like, are you okay?
Oh, God.
Are you all right?
That's why I love Joey. Joey Diaz has been a huge inspiration for my comedy for that.
Oh, yeah.
Like in a weird way, because he's always been this person who just talked about
The shit that he went through.
and he made it funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
And-
I get what you're saying. I get the comparison you're making because, yeah, the shit that you listen to Joey Diaz, you're like, good Lord, what the fuck? But he makes it funny, dude. He makes it real funny.
Well, and I think it's a weird thing. Maybe we're just storytellers and we feel compulsion to tell our story.
Yeah, like you do. Like I need it.
But getting over that, that put a huge thing in where I was like running from. I thought I was never gonna have a girlfriend. That's why I started to get to know someone like Charlie to help me learn how to talk to girls. And now I'm in this place where I've started to have success. And that I was.
Oh, Charlie lives here, right?
Yeah, he lives he lives in my basement.
He's a little basement goblin. That's cool.
He is. He's a basement goblin.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice dude. Good guy.
He's a good
Shout
guy.
out Charlie. Good
Charlie,
dude.
he should. Well, I need to get him on here.
Yeah, has he not been on the podcast?
It's just been like, we moved in together and then we had to get, that all worked out. And now
There's
we're just
so
in a
much
place.
stuff. You got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah,
There's a lot
how
of
it
things
gets.
in people's lives, like schedules, business meetings. Yeah.
But I realized that I had
Operations.
maybe I'm doing it again here. That you had to get over. I had that version that you said, I can't imagine having to look for someone. That's the thing I've
Oh,
been
yeah. No.
And then you get in that vision
That's
of
what
yourself
scares
as no one's going to want to do this. Because dating people, I can't remember who was on, Sebastian Younger, I think, was on Joe Rogan. He talked about dating someone with bipolar, how it's almost impossible.
Okay.
And my mom has bipolar, and my dad is an amazing human. 'Cause the way he puts up with it. It's really hard, even with my mom and I, who are very controlled and medicated and regulated.
Yeah.
It's really tough to
Are
live
you guys
with.
similar, like you and your mom?
Very similar.
Yeah.
My mom. That's why my mom put me in therapy, because she's like, I see this in my family.
I see myself.
You know, my
in
big
you.
family. This is it. My mom's seen this because I have such a huge family. My
Yeah.
mom had 10 siblings, and
Wow.
my grandfather, he was a surgeon from Harvard, and he had 10 kids, and he probably had bipolar. And
He may have had bipolar, dude, but that man knew how to fuck. 10 children,
dude, my
all with the same woman.
yep. And
Dude, I feel
my cousin-
bad for your grandma's fucking badussy. You know what I'm saying?
my cousin Joe came up to us,
That's wild.
and to me and my brother, and he's like,
10 kids. They would have got a TLC show. You realize that? If this
"Do you
was
know you're from the
2000.
South? Do you know like the do you know the name Bowden?
Bowden?
Like-
Baudin.
Bowden.
Bowden. No. No, mine's still on. I don't know that name. No. Who is that?
Bowden, from the South. Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden was one of the best football coaches, college football coaches of all time.
Who do you coach for?
Florida State Seminoles.
Bobby Bowden for the Florida State.
And then I don't know. Do you know the movie Black Hawk Down?
I do know the movie Black Hawk Down.
My cousin Mark Bowden wrote the book that it's based on.
Wow. Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
Is Bobby Bowden in your family?
Bobby Bowden's my third cousin. Bobby Bowden is my grandpa John's cousin.
Holy shit. So Bobby Bowden, coach Florida State Seminoles, is your third cousin.
Yes.
Mark Bowden
Yes. Who
is your what cousin?
second? Because he's my
Second
mom's cousin.
And he wrote Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
The
Book.
novel.
Yeah. The novel. It's the
Is
show's-
is the novel called Black Hawk Down?
Yes. It's based on. He worked heavily with the guys who made the movie.
Gotcha. Okay. So Mark, was he in the war?
No, my grandfather was though. One of the
so
things.
did he take it from your grandfather's experience, or did it was this just
no,
all a
this
fictional
was
novel?
Mark is my grandpa John's younger brother's kid.
Okay, so now Black Hawk Down, is this all a fictional thing that he came up with because he's
I think
like
it's
an artist?
I think it's historical fiction.
Historical fiction.
I'm not,
so it's-
but it's based on actual event. It may even be. I don't know if it is. It may be a history, but I think it's autobiography.
That's
I haven't read it.
fucking insane for one, dude. Your is he your second cousin?
Yeah.
He's
If
your
I have
second
second cousins, I probably have hundreds of cousins.
Dude, your second cousin made something that gets parodied into a porno.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well,
Like that's fucking insane.
dude, I know.
I mean,
I like the way you
forget
put
he-
that. I like the
forget-
way you put that.
Forget that the dude made Black Hawk Down. Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, right here. I'm gonna show you a picture of your second cousin's face. That's him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that looks
IMDb, baby.
that is a Bowden right there. That is a cousin of
IMDb,
mine.
baby. That's crazy, dude. You know that he's also writing Luna Park that is coming out soon here, directed by Doug Liman. Dude, your second cousin's getting some shit done. Doug Liman is directing a movie that your second cousin's doing. You know he did Swingers, right? Roadhouse. He did the new one with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor. I mean, it's impressive. This is pretty cool. A group of renegade employees who venture to the moon to steal an energy source. It's an action-adventure sci-fi thriller. You should get free tickets to this movie.
I probably could if I
You
talked
should
to
bring me.
Because if I do, I'll talk. My mom keeps in touch with Mark.
So cool, dude. That's awesome.
You think
That'd be
my mom's big? So my grandfather, he had 11 kids,
Okay.
and then his younger brother.
Wait, your grandfather who was the surgeon?
Yeah, he had his younger brother. I think Richard was his name. He had 8 kids, and my grandfather's wife, came from a family of 8 kids.
Nah, y'all are just fucking horny, dude.
Dude,
Your family's horny as shit.
and we're fertile. My cousin Joe.
Fertile as fuck.
My cousin Joe came up to me and
That's
my brother
crazy.
at my cousin Klaus's wedding, and he's
Klaus?
He
Does he have an accent?
He actually lives in South Carolina and he got one now.
Oh no, I meant like, hi, I'm Klaus. Hello,
No,
John Henry is my
it's-
cousin.
No, not at all like that.
We're in South Carolina.
No, does he live in? No, I think he lives in North.
It's the same place.
Yeah, I'm not exactly
It's so many people like, so you're from North Carolina, right? I'm like, sure.
sure.
Myrtle Beach, North Carolina.
Yeah.
What's it to you? It doesn't matter. Oh, dude, that's wild.
He had 5 kids in
There's
7.
so many people in your family.
My cousin Joe had 5 kids in 7 years.
That's too many kids, dude. 7 years?
It's actually him and his wife are great. They want
That's wild.
they have, and he came up to me and my brother and he said, "Boys, Bowden men are fertile. Watch your swimmers."
Yeah, dude. You gotta fucking
And
come in
my
a sock
sister,
every
she
time.
got pregnant earlier this year, and they weren't trying, but they weren't like not trying, and like accidental pregnancy. And it's one of the things I worry about because you can pass on bipolar and like that. Like I'm like,
Yeah. No, I don't want to make more sad kids.
or if you do, they need an environment to grow up in. Like luckily, I grew up in a supportive family, and we're able to manage.
Middle to.
My mom, the
High
biggest thing was my
class.
mom. My mom,
Did you guys have China?
we had China. Yeah,
That's all I need to know.
yeah.
Yeah, you were doing fine. You're doing good.
We weren't lacking for stuff, but especially compared to where my dad got nervous because my mom was like, oh, because my grandfather was a surgeon. You know, he was a general surgeon in Joliet, Illinois.
That ain't bad right there. That's old money.
Yeah, I got a lot of wealthy older family
You don't
members.
want to look too far back. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, the Bowdens actually do come from the South.
Which is scary.
I don't know how far back in the South. I just know that my grandfather Lloyd Bowden, my grandfather's father, he was like I think the oldest of 11 kids from the South, and he left to go and do law school in Chicago, and like he's like the only one who he like made something of himself. He was old Baptist boy, and he beat his 3 sons if they didn't get straight A's.
Damn, dude. Good thing I was raised Episcopalian. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. There's honestly too many people in your family tree. I think you should start thinning. I think you should start going back and be like, I think it's your time now. Great grandpappy. Are they still all alive?
No. My grandmother died when I was 2, and my grandfather died when I was 10.
That's crazy, dude.
My mom was 8 of 11 and didn't have kids till she was in her like mid 30s.
Okay.
So,
I was about to say, like now the family reunions are.
dude, that's why I loved weddings. There's a cousin getting married every 2 years. My sister just got married
get to see
last
everybody?
year. Dude, did you see on my Instagram? I have like a wedding speech I gave to my sister.
No.
It's like I have a pin. It was my sister's wedding speech, and I lived with my sister and my brother-in-law in Salt Lake for like 4 months. So I actually knew their relationship better than anybody.
Well. At the wedding.
And I told my sister she was bossy as shit because my sister's bossy as shit, but like in a good way. Like she's like, I think I said in the speech, I said she'll make you believe in your dreams before you do, so much so that you have to remind her that it's your dreams.
that it's not hers. Oh wow, that's funny. You were just being real with them in their wedding speech.
And it was like a bit. Like my brother was like, "Don't do it as a bit. You're gonna offend them."
You're like,
and
I'm doing a bit. Do you know who I am?
all my cousins. So we're in the younger half. Like I have cousins who are in their 50s. Who could be my parents, but
Yeah.
it's just because this family spread out.
Yeah.
And
It's just they're not in
We've
a rush.
been to like probably 20 weddings at this point.
That's
Or
crazy.
probably more at this point. And
You own a good
finally,
suit?
I didn't grow up with my cousins. My mom left Joliet, Illinois, and we were the only family. So I didn't grow up around my mom's family. I grew up around my dad's family.
Yeah.
And we'd always have to go, and that was the time we got to see our cousins because we don't have any cousins on my dad's side. And it was always something we would go and see. My mom would take one of us, and it was always like the party. We got drunk, we got fucked up.
Yeah,
we got to
dude.
see the cousins.
You were like, I want to go to
The
that.
older cousins will fuck with you. It's great. I
Yeah.
have. It's also the ratio's way off. I think there's like 11 girls and 25 boys.
Holy shit, dude.
And it's weird because in the original 11, it was 4 boys and 7 girls.
wow. So they did outnumber them at one point.
Oh, my mom has 6 sisters. Yeah,
That's wild.
and it
Yeah,
was
dude,
always
family events for you have got to be.
when my sister's wedding happened. Like my sister threw like a nice wedding. She should go and it's bad, but it was amazing. Our whole family was there, and all my cousins. I said I'd done stand up, but they're my fucking older cousins. Like, yeah, I know stand up. You know,
Yeah. Look at this fucking dork.
Two of my cousins. One of my cousins went to West Point. One of them was
Damn. Fuck that.
Another one's like lifelong military career,
That's
and.
terrifying.
I go there, and my uncle, like the oldest bowed, my mom's oldest brother, who my mom's oldest brother's like in his mid-70s, was there. He and old school boomer, and in a good way.
Yeah.
I
Like, I love they thems. That's what he was. That's what he was saying. Blue hair is my favorite color.
dude, fuck yeah.
That's what he was like, for sure.
And everyone was all there, and I give the bride gives the weddings. I'd been in stand-up for a year and a half. I'd just been in Austin for 6 months, and I learned some things. And my maid of honor, my sister's friend, was super nervous. She's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm like, don't worry about this thing. If you ever have to give a wedding speech, even if you're not a stand-up, just think about this. Make the bride and groom, or make them laugh, because everyone's there for them.
If they laugh, everyone laughs.
Or if they're into it, everyone will be into it.
100%,
Like,
yeah.
so you just
If
look
they're
at
not
them,
into it, people aren't going to be into it. Yeah.
Just have a pot. Like, tell them, like, hey, we're just you and me, and that helped. And so my brother came up. He gave a sweet speech, and Soraya gave a funny speech. And but these people aren't good at public speaking. I go up there and I did stand up for probably a year and a half at this point. And
Dude, how long was your set, dude?
2 years. No, I'd done it for about a little over 2 years at this point. And this is after I'd been in, because my first year and a half I did stand up like twice a week, but I'd been doing it almost every day.
Yeah.
And I go up there, and I still have too much energy. I'm still moving around way too much. But I go up there, and I'd worked on this speech. And I was just told by my mom and my brother, like, don't do a bit. You're going to make it funny. I'm like, fuck all y'all. I'm going to do that. And
Yeah.
it probably it's probably a little under about 3 minutes. But I told them, I start with, like, you're not the queen yet, Adam. My sister loved to be in charge. And I had to tell her, you're not mom. You're not my mom. And she's always been like, I'm Princess Jenny. And so I said, you're not from Bug's Life, when like the little bug from Bug's Life, is her sister's like, you're not even old enough to fly yet. She's like, you're not the queen yet, Ada.
Yeah.
And I remember when that would go off, I just look at my sister when we were watching the movie as a family.
Like, that's
and
you.
That's you. And so I open with that. I'm like, you're not the queen yet. And I tell her why I love her, and I go in the whole speech, and then I tell him why I love my brother-in-law. And the big reason they work, and I say this, like, I tell them why they work, and they work because they're actually very different. They're like my mom and my dad. They're very different, but they work together amazing. And that's what's so cool about them. There's that they're not the same. And in the end, I say, Jenny, I hate to say this because you're only going to hear me say this, but today, you are the queen. As much as I hate to admit it.
I don't want to say it.
But those shoes fit you perfectly, and I loved. And now I'm doing my two good friends are getting married, 2 lesbians, and I got to give another wedding speech now. But just tell them why you love them. Like, why do you love these people? Why are they great? And I think people's flaws, especially in my family, are what make my sister's bossy as shit, but she's not like a controlling, mean boss. She's a fun boss. She's the boss. Like, I hate that I like this person so much, and. I mean, easy if like they didn't write their vows, and I'm sure like if I had asked you like, why do you love your girlfriend, and you've been in a relationship, you don't know what the words are, but you could say them.
Yeah, absolutely. The emotions would turn themselves into words. Felt like I was at your sister's wedding, dude. That was really well done. That was really good. How much time did you do at your sister's wedding? Did you?
I did. I didn't.
I would have stretched that shit out. I would have done a 15-minute set.
The reason is everyone at this point, like, things were getting late, and they were going to cut the speeches.
Oh, dude.
And I
You about to cut my mic at my sister's wedding?
They weren't going to do them at all, and I was like, we have to do them. And they were going to put me up
I didn't
third,
even get the light
and I was
yet,
like, wait, no. And I'm like, hey, put me up. And as I was doing that speech and told my sister she's bossy, and I was, I told her that the first time I met my brother-in-law, I told him, you don't have to date my sister despite what she says.
Yeah.
And the DJ asked my sister at the time, she's like, should I cut his mic? Because I told her she was bossy and all this. And my sister's like, fuck no. You can see her, like, she's super nice. She's like, no.
I would be so mad if a DJ cut my mic at my sister's
I
wedding.
would have fought, but it was.
Yeah, dude, you better let me do a 10-minute, 15-minute set.
I destroyed so much
Yeah.
that after the show, I got my oldest cousin, my old Jeff, comes up to me and says like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing computer science. It's like, you should quit that and do stand-up.
Like, well, I'm working on it, Jeff.
And it was,
Doesn't pay very well. It's not a very big
I made the whole room.
job market.
I destroyed the whole room with this joke. I said, I was telling Michael why I love him. And I said, but Michael, remember, I told you, if you ever hurt my sister, I will hunt you down and beg you to take her back.
and I was like, please.
And
That worked.
it destroyed
Yeah, I don't
my
doubt it. That
family.
fucking worked.
Because that was like, all my older cousins are like, they're old, like I said, 25. Like, I think of those, I think I'm the 23rd grandson. So I have
Jesus
older brothers.
Christ.
I don't have any actual older brothers, but like I got older brothers for days.
Yeah.
And I got like everyone.
You had him cracking up.
And it was like, to me, it was great because I proved to them at the day, like, this wasn't just, I'm doing stand-up. Like, you're like, no, I worked on this every day. Wow. And that, like, when you find that thing that makes you go, because I remember right after that, you know why it was so great? Before that, we're in Utah, so like they have limits, dumb like laws of how long you can sell alcohol or how much you can't sell shots.
Yeah, it's weird alcohol laws up there because they just turned beer to like a regular beer percentage. That used to be all lower percentage alcohol in all the beer. Like it used to be like 3% beer, and now it's regular beer. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. I've never been to. You've never been to Utah.
You can't order. I think you can't order. You can't order a double.
Yeah, you can't have 2 drinks
You
at
can
one
only
time.
get. Yeah, they're a bunch of just dumb. You can still drink there. You can still. It's dumb hindrance laws.
People put cream in their Dr. Pepper.
It's crazy.
Let's just
But
settle on that for a moment. Cream in the Dr. Pepper. Go fuck yourself.
because of that, everyone was kind of antsy, and you have to understand my uncles, my brother-in-law, he comes from a Mormon family, and
Okay.
we are Catholic. My mom's family and my dad's family's very old, but my mom's family's huge, and we're all Catholic, but we're like the fun Midwest Catholic.
Yeah, like we
we're
still
drinkers.
party.
We love to party.
Yeah.
We love to talk. We're
Uncle
gonna be
Jerry's doing coke in the bathroom.
We are actually we usually never. Okay,
Sometimes Uncle Jerry does coke in the bathroom. Not every occasion, not every family gathering is he in the bathroom doing rails.
As I was about to say that, I was like, wait, we actually can't talk about that. You know what?
Uncle Jerry doesn't exist. He's not real. Do you have an Uncle Jerry?
We're good fun though. Like we're not dangerous.
If you have an Uncle Jerry, I was just kidding.
No, I don't have an Uncle
All
Jerry.
right, thank God. Uncle
I have
Jerry's
Uncle,
not real.
very similar names, but
Uncle Jimmy.
and
You're a good time. You're good
they
Catholics.
don't mesh well. We don't. But that and like a very hard Mormon family, we made them very nervous. And my dad's family, because my dad's family, most people are in their 80s in my dad's family. It's crazy.
Damn.
They're very old. My dad, my grandfather's like 92 and still kicking. So.
Damn, does he drive?
Yes.
He does?
He bikes like 30 miles a week.
Now, the fact that he drives is wild. The fact that he's able to operate a 1,000-pound motor vehicle is
My
crazy.
grandfather is my hero. He's amazing.
Is he a fit dude? Does he like get out?
Oh God!
I had a
does
neighbor
yoga.
that's
You should
90 something.
Do you want to see a picture of him?
Yeah, dude. Show me a picture of this old man.
Oh God, he won't.
He doesn't look 92.
No, he. I mean, he has. You know. Let's see. Where's Grandpa?
You show me a picture of like Hugh Hefner looking like rotting old man. You're like, doesn't he look good? He's got open wounds on his face. You're like, he's looking great for his age. He's leaking. They've pre-embalmed him.
Oh,
Like,
here.
that's
This was
a
him
thing
couple
that they
years
do.
ago.
Dude, nah, that man gets out. That's crazy.
He
He's
got
in his
He
90s?
got remarried. With
That man fucks.
85.
That man
85.
fucks. That's crazy, dude. That's insane. Good on him. When will you see him
Sorry,
next?
Grandpa, if
When
you
will
listen to this.
When will you see him next?
Soon. Like I'm very close with my grandpa.
You are?
Yeah.
You tell him that your friend Jacob says, good job.
Yeah.
You let him know.
He's a great time, but it was weird when those Mormons don't mesh. When I gave that speech,
Is he Mormon?
no,
No.
we're just and at that wedding. One of the things that started, I bring it back to me. I'm a selfish talker. I get it.
I want to talk about your sister's wedding.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
Because I do too. You got
I
me
can tell, dude. You love your sister. It's
Oh,
awesome.
that's the
So
weird
happy
thing about
for
me.
you.
I come from like In terms of like
Family
a real
super
family,
tight.
I fucking won the fucking law.
Yeah.
It's great in a real way.
Me and you, same boat. Because everybody in my family, I love them. I'm so close with everybody in my family.
My immediate family, like my older brother and my brother actually lives in that room over there.
Oh, you're hella close with your family.
Like not in a very my little brother's one of my best friends, if not my best friend. I'm very close to my dad, my parents.
Is he 9?
He's what?
How old's your little brother? Is he 9?
No, my little brother's 23. He lives,
Oh, all right, cool.
That's
That's just my brain whenever I think of a little brother.
He's not that little. He's like he's like 5 inches taller than me.
Dude, he's almost 6 foot.
Yeah.
That's a big brother right there.
But he's
See, whenever I think of little brother, my socks are goddamn.
it only takes one leg kick, and then he's a little brother.
Yeah.
It's like Dude, that's part of the reason I learned how to fight. I'm like, I've talked
I
way
can't
too
let
much
this
shit
motherfucker
to
bring
my
me
little
down.
brother.
Yeah. No, I get that. Is this a big clipper?
And anyway, one of the things that made me want to I have to be a comedian was because I put everybody like right before the real drinking started, like the real
Before y'all got sloshed.
I did it right as I did it. The sun was going down, so the sun went down just right before I did it.
And then everybody turned into werewolves.
Everyone, the mood I put in that room. You're talking to a moody child. I have a mood disorder. That's what bipolar is. It's a mood disorder. I'm a moody asshole at times. And that's why I love stand, because I put everybody like in the mood that I want to be in all the time.
Yeah.
And that fun, like people start like literally, it was like a superpower. Like the vibe, like everyone had like a.
You could change it.
Because people were laughing because it was the first time I never crushed that hard in my life. One, it's also not that hard of a room. People want to laugh.
Yeah, dude. You got a pretty good fucking audience. Not bad. It's like being in Comedy Works. You're like, this is good. This is nice having all these people in
because
here.
you can't really practice the speech.
No, you can't. You can do it in front of a mirror, but that's it.
I had punchlines and I knew things I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But you just gotta. That night I'm like, I was the kid, like when I would blurt out in class, it would drive my 5th grade teacher crazy because I would control the room. I'd make people laugh either at me, and sometimes it wasn't very healthy. And the response I got, I went to like it wasn't a Catholic school, but it was in that model, very rigorous.
Yeah.
And I was like, people knew, like teachers knew me, like before I got into the grade.
Damn.
Like they knew my sister. They knew because my sister was also like caused waves, and then I was worse. But my brother
Caused waves.
because we all went to the same elementary school. Like my brother didn't like it because everyone knew him. All like not in a good way. They're like, oh, that's John Wilson's little brother.
Gotcha.
And it was it was just the way things were. It's what happens when you have mental illness. You're just gonna stay. I had big mood problems, and when you break down crying in class and when you're 10 years old, people don't know how to. Other 10-year-olds don't know how to react.
Don't get that, and also they don't take into consideration that maybe this 10-year-old has bipolar disorder. You know.
Well, it's also bipolar disorder is not a thing you see in kids usually.
No.
It's an adult illness. I wasn't diagnosed till I was 19.
Okay.
But
there were little things here and there that you could see.
I'm also the severity. So people have different levels of bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
All bipolars have depression, but some have worse manias. So there's 3 diseases. There's bipolar 1, which I have, which has psychotic level manias, and they usually catch it because you get psychotic when you're about 18 or 19 naturally, no matter what.
Gotcha.
And you land in the hospital because
Is that kind of like
crazy.
going through puberty and stuff because your brain is?
I think it's
weird?
like right after, something like that. But they
Yeah.
usually catch it. 2, you have hypomanias, so you will get like egotistical and crazy, but you don't usually get psychotic. But the depression's the same. That can actually slip under the radar because it's just not as out there. And then there's what they call, I think it's cyclominthia. It has a specific name. I think like there's a generic name called bipolar 3.
Okay.
It's an even less severe mania, and it's also each one was on the spectrum. I got a pretty bad case, and
bipolar 3 is probably the one you want to shoot for, right?
yeah, and people can develop it. It's interesting. Some they tend to develop 2, from what I understand. But
Really,
could be-
people
I could-
develop too.
Yes, and 1 tends to be genetic, and that was the thing with
Okay, and that's
It's
because
very-
it was passed down.
It's about a third. I have a very big family.
Yeah.
Of the original,
like we were speaking about earlier, and how everyone was horny.
30% of my family is it seems like for every kid I have, a kid will have a 30% chance of having it.
Wow.
So
That's a pretty up there.
it's why I'm like with it's weird, you know, and this is going to sound gross, but when you're in the moment of fucking somebody, you're like, I don't care about a condom at all stuff. I have that side of me, but I have an even bigger voice that's like, if you don't put on
you might have a kid and he might have bipolar.
and I'm like, and that was the thing, like, I do think fertility is somewhat genetic. Like I think I can pretty easily. I have the potential to get girls pregnant easily, just based on like my cousin Joe. He's like, watch your swimmers.
Yeah.
And more so than that, it's
based on how many fucking people are in your family. Probably got some potent jizz, as they say.
And it's so weird because people. It's also but it also forged me in who I am. And if you took away my bipolar, I wouldn't know who I was. People are like, if you could get rid of it, if there's a pill, would you? And I'm like, I don't know.
No, I think that if taking away your bipolar now would be like you wouldn't know because that is how you found yourself. Right?
Yeah.
But going back before you were ever diagnosed with bipolar, if they just said magic wand, bipolar gone, you would have found yourself in a different way. Like you would have found who you are as a person eventually.
I definitely would not have been a comedian. I think that thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly. You could be a fucking geologist. You're like, I'm so glad I found rocks.
I actually probably would have. I kind of fit into that group. And the thing about that drove me crazy, I think, with some teachers is I was a good, smart student who could succeed. And so I was just I'm not a very polite kid. I'm disagreeable because, I mean, even my mom makes fun of it. Like, if you look at most of the pictures of me when I'm 4, I'm mostly frowning. Like, I remember being miserable as a kid because I'd go to places like birthday parties, and I would feel awful, and I wouldn't know why. Like, I just be...
Were you more of like a Dave & Buster's guy rather than a Chuck E. Cheese? Or like, you're like, this place blows. I could be at D&B's right now.
I just was a very unhappy child, and I had very big temper tantrums. And it's just having... Sometimes it happens now. Like, bipolar's mainly a mood disorder.
Yeah.
It's why sometimes at Mike's, like, I'll have a ton of energy, and some I won't.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you won't, it's frustrating when you don't because people are like, why? And you're like...
It's just not that way today. Do you ever get frustrated at yourself
Oh.
because of that? Because you don't have a lot of energy? You're like, why don't I have a bunch of energy? I have to go up on stage. Like, do you ever, or do you work with it because you know that that's just going to happen?
I tend to ride what I'm at. Like, if I'm miserable, I try to channel that in, like, an angry, funny way. It can be hard because sometimes you can come out just angry.
Yeah, but you want to also try and make people laugh.
I've been very open. Like, I think it's a thing that is... Even on this podcast, like with you, I'm a very open person.
Yeah,
sometimes
absolutely.
I'm too open, but I just...
Y'all want to see my cock? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little open. It's a little too open. My bad.
I've been in some cases about, and I get why a lot of celebrities and a lot of comedians talk about, like even comedians who do talk about bipolar, like Taylor Tomlinson, who I love. She's super funny.
Extremely funny.
She's extremely.
I've seen all of her
hate
specials,
how funny she is.
and she's very funny.
Partly because she also has bipolar, and if she ever sees this, I'm just talking shit. And I think, especially as an attractive, comedian who honors it in a dorky way, and she has talked about it more than any comedian out there. She doesn't go into details, and I respect why. I go into details, and it hasn't always been to my detriment. But to me, when I've been psychotic, like those, or in certain moments, it's like there's another you. And, like, when you have another side of you that's either super violent or super crazy in a way you can't control.
Got a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation.
Exactly. And
I like that there's a light that goes off at the end of this filter whenever you pour water. That makes me happy. Sorry, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, take it back to the another side of you. There's two different yous.
It changes you in a weird way. And so for me, one of the things I said is I cannot lie to myself because I need to know my reality. And even as a kid, like even in high school, like in high school as a pretty good kid, I still had some contention. But there were some times when I went to a great high school and it was a great fit. But there were even times because I'll take my old teachers out to like lunch or something. And they're like, you would be so honest in a way that would hurt you, like so brutally honest in every way. It was
you would be so brutally honest that it would be to your
it'd be
detriment?
uncomfortable for people at times. It was just
in school.
Yeah, because my school would go on we used all our money where we would go on 3-week-long trips around the U.S. or around the world.
Did you go
that
to
were
a
really
private
cheap.
high school?
No, it was a public high school. But the way
Really?
we did it, we'd stay in hostels and shit. It was awesome.
Yeah, it sounds cool as fuck, dude. I didn't have any.
I
shit
wouldn't
in
have
my dumb high
graduated.
school.
I gotta do a whole series on Jefferson County Open School,
Damn.
and
Fuck. Was that here?
that was here. It was literally just like it was like 4 miles from here. It was a public school, but you had to get
That's
drawn
cool.
into it. Like you had to get drawn into it.
Oh, you had to get drawn.
You had to, it
was a
lottery.
bucket pool school.
But it was like you could just put it in. It wasn't like a charge. You just had to put in. But there was a lottery.
You had to put your name in.
Yeah.
The bucket.
I was super lucky and I got in. I wouldn't have graduated school otherwise. I learned some basic skills. It was very good for someone like me who was a little different. I had a lot of freedom, and I realized that I had so much freedom, and that's how I got into Japanese. That was a lot of my school projects, learning Japanese, because I was a dorky anime weeaboo kid.
Do you like anime still?
I'll go back and like watch things nostalgically, and sometimes just practice listening to Japanese. Like I'll go back and watch.
Okay.
Naruto.
Do you use it for your benefit to like kind of like learn the language?
Yeah,
and
but
stuff?
at first I didn't. It's too hard. Like I watched a ton of anime for like years before I learned the language, and I didn't pick any of it up. It's a really tough language, and it's tough to
I don't doubt that
practice.
shit. I don't doubt that at all.
And so now I'm at the point where even now, and I haven't kept it up because I never got to go to Japan because of COVID. That was also pissed me off about COVID.
Dude, you'll get to Japan. Don't worry. Let them legalize pot before you go to Japan.
I don't know how long that'll make.
That's not gonna happen anytime soon. So you might be 50 or something by the time you go to Japan.
Yeah.
How long has it been since you've been on a school bus?
I never really took a school bus.
did it?
I walked or took the bus. I took the public bus.
Yeah, public bus.
Yeah.
Is that a school bus? Oh no, like the actual bus. You have buses here.
Yeah. I took some of those.
They just have roads where I'm from, pal. Just roads where cars drive. No, they
I
probably have.
remember
They
on
probably
one
have bus.
school trip, I was like 15, and I take a drug called Seroquel, which gives you these it's an antipsychotic. and one
Made
of the
by Michael.
It basically reduces. Like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, I call it Seroquel John because it's a different person. It has 3 functions.
Seroquel
It has
John?
eat, piss, and go back to sleep.
Really?
And nothing else. It's like things. I will wake up in the night, and I've waked up in the night, and I'll just eat people's food. And they'll try like, "Hey, John, stop eating my food." And
You're
I
like,
can't-
that's Seroquel, John, dude. You gotta
I
pick
can't
it.
communicate.
Take it up with
them.
that motherfucker. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's a strong drug, and I do take it. It does help, but that's like a side effect of it.
What is it for?
Bipolar.
Oh, it's for bipolar. Now, do you take it for
It
sleep?
saved my life. It's basically a second generation antipsychotic, which means that antipsychotics are some extremely hard ones that have a lot of bad side effects. Like they suck when you take them. You feel like shit. You feel awful.
That's
but
crazy.
Seroquel doesn't have those effects, and it's able to it's an amazing drug. I would be dead without it.
That's wild.
And
I'm on weed right now.
I am too. And
I am too.
And it's probably not a good combination, but that's a
How?
different
Yeah.
topic.
Now, how is that? With like, are you allowed to?
Probably I function, and that's my
Yeah,
biggest
like
thing.
that's what works. It's like
If I can function, I'm functioning fine. I better not smoke any more weed. You got me high as shit.
I
on
won't.
this
I won't
podcast.
make you smoke any more weed. I promise. But like, I didn't think about that until now. Like, because like I don't take anything. I used to be prescribed Vyvanse and Adderall, but that was when I was like 13 or 14, and then my parents were like,
The reason
"No more of that
I
shit,
like
you zombie."
Concerta, the reason do you know why I like Concerta is because Seroquel is so strong that Concerta kind of wakes you up in the morning, and it is
So you got a downer that's so down, you're like, I need something that boots me. You know what I'm saying?
And it's interesting. A lot of people on Seroquel put on a ton of weight, and doctors will say that when I have to switch a doctor or something. They're like, you avoid the weight gain of Seroquel. And I think I don't know because my mom put me at drugs when I was like 5.
Oh, you've been on this for a minute.
I think I adjusted, and there's evidence that people who don't with bipolar, if they don't go on like a lithium drug, a mood stabilizer, their brain starts to decay in a faster way. And like when people are on lithium, it like balances it out, and it's really weird why. Because lithium's a very basic element. It's like the 3rd element on the periodic
Yeah,
table.
no, dude, they got you on an element.
That's why it wasn't a drug for a long time, actually.
That's crazy.
Because-
like zinc, they got you rubbing it
In
on
the
your
20s,
face
I think they found out it worked for bipolar, but they couldn't patent it because it was an element.
because it was an element.
Yes. And
That's
so they
wild.
couldn't. And so my grandfather could have, if they did in the 20s, if they patented it just like to sell it for nothing, my grandfather would probably have been on it. I probably wouldn't have existed then. He probably wouldn't have as many kids.
Yeah, no, he probably would have, like, the lithium probably would have just
It's the
all the swimmers, dude.
when I was in
He's
the mental
got some
hospital, I was on
potent
lithium
jizz.
for 5 days, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Really?
Because as a kid, I was on a drug that called Lamictal that sometimes it works with bipolar 2s really well. But
you're number one.
except it works
Schmitty
with but it's
Werbinger,
been shown to work
Berginger.
with one, and it worked with me for 7. I was on it for like 7 years since like I was 10, so I was on it for almost 10 years, and it worked great. But sometimes when they get bipolar 1s get in this like adult phase where they have their first manic episode, it did the reverse. So one of the biggest contributors to my manic episode was Lamictal, because I was taking a drug that was making me psychotic,
Whoa.
and then I was taking a fuck ton of Seroquel. I was taking so much, like literally, I think a couple hundred times the normal dose, and I still couldn't sleep because it was rounding me up. I went on lithium for 5 days in the mental hospital. I was out in the 5th day, and I was in the mental hospital voluntarily for 3 days.
Wait, were you awake the whole time?
Oh yeah, the mental hospital is kind of this like place where they try to kind of just eat, sleep, and they don't let you leave or do any drugs for like a while, and they get you on your medications on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I luckily went to a good one. It's basically what Arkham Asylum was in Batman,
Nice.
but if it was like done right. The
Oh,
stuff
cool.
in Arkham, like I don't know, have you watched the Joker? The Penguin at all?
Yeah.
Have you seen like? Are you
The
up to date?
Sophia Falcone episode where she's in the.
That. It made me angry because I knew that's how they used to treat some patients.
Yeah,
like they're
that's how it
shocked.
used to be. Yeah, where they'd just be like, let's just zap them and see if that'll work.
Like
What if we make them stick a fork in the outlet?
the worst thing is the gaslighting. Because when
Yeah.
I was one of the things that worked with me when I was in, because I was very disagreeable and I would get paranoid because I was also probably smoking too much weed.
Did they gaslight you?
Some people do, and
No, they
just
don't.
when you're freaking psychotic and paranoid, anything can gaslight you, but not
Yeah.
like to me. If I was putting myself in Sophia's condition when they like the gaslighting, like you're sick.
She's like, dude, my dad is a mobster.
That would be something that would make me actually like if that happened to me, I would hurt someone.
Yeah.
Because when
You would do what they want you to do.
that manipulates it, because when you're in a mental hospital like that, I luckily, thank God, went to this place called Cedar Pines at like it's the Lutheran Medical Campus here in Lakewood, and it was great. It was a good place. But if I had part of it worked because I trusted these people enough that they weren't going to. There's not a ton of direction in the mental hospital.
Yeah.
They really just say what you can't do. It was a good reset for me. It was beneficial, but. If I knew someone was like forcing me, or like if like one of the things that screwed up is when I was taken to the ER because I thought I was having a panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. It was a terrible panic attack. I was taken to the ER and they physically restrained me. And when I was physically restrained and I was psychotic, it made the psychosis worse. That's why I thought I was the Dalai Lama, because I come there and they start sticking tubes in you. And when you're manic and I was smoking too much weed, you're paranoid. And it was uncomfortable, and I ripped it out, and they restrain you. Those physical things, you're kind of psychotic, so it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
One of the first things I remember, my memory became coherent the moment, like literally the moment I went to this Cedar Pines unit. They put me down on the bed. They said, we're going to be in here at like, and just the way the nurses handled it, and they didn't really do much. They were just respectful. I immediately started to come down.
Really?
Immediately.
It's called bedside manner, baby.
It's why I was in there. I was like, I'm going to be in there for 3 days because I want to make sure I'm okay. And I could trust that. But the moment someone starts to break that trust, and I don't know, have you ever seen The One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah.
You know Nurse Ratched at
Yeah.
the end of it? I was watching that movie, and when I saw that scene, I was on my, I'm like, kill the motherfucker!
Yeah, dude.
Kill her! Break her skull!
Kill that
snap
bitch,
her
dude.
head."
Kill that bitch, dude. Yeah, no, and that's what that movie wants you to feel, is because that's the feeling
That gaslighting
that someone
is worse
feels.
Then I would rather be physically restrained than gaslighted.
Then gaslit, saying no,
Because I'm
you're
trusting, like,
sick.
no, and like when Sophia was in that, I had to like come after the episode and think about it because it got me putting on my toes. Like, no, that's and
Grinds your
those-
gears.
and the brain shock stuff too.
Yeah.
That was one of the things in the 70s that was so
big. They just did it to everyone.
yeah.
Like, this lady's not cooking her husband's grilled cheeses right. Let's strap her up and zap her in the brain.
Or do a lobotomy.
Yeah, dude, let's stick a needle, an ice pick, through her eye and, like, mush up the front part of her hippocampus. That should fix it, you know? That's insane. That's crazy. I'm just glad they have lithium now.
I mean, yeah, and I think that's why I talk so openly about it. Is I wanted to be a comedian who was very open, and I'm actually really like I've tried to make it into a joke of starting with like I'm the most stable bipolar you'll ever meet. And part of it is like I probably shouldn't smoke weed and I did an episode about that, but
On how you shouldn't smoke weed.
yeah, dude, I had to stop drinking when I was 20, and
Yeah,
I
no,
like
get
it too much. I like getting super fucking stoned like
Yeah.
this, and it's why I try to be sober. Like I do think trying to cut back is a good thing for people with mental illness.
But that's really good on you because, like you said before this, you have, like, you took a day to where you just, like, didn't do anything? Like, you just didn't smoke?
I try to do 3 or 4 days a week, and I'm not like always good where I don't smoke or drink or do
What did
anything.
you get this week?
I did Sunday and Monday I was sober, and I'm
Nice.
going to do tomorrow and Thursday.
That's killer. See, like, that's impressive work for someone that does like to get stoned. Because liking to get stoned most of the time, always overcomes
It was the only
feeling
time
of I want to stay sober.
And this is where I did when I was in the hospital. It was like a marijuana addiction was on there. Like when I started, first time I smoked weed, I was like 16, and I didn't feel anything. I probably got high, but I didn't feel it, and I was
Yeah.
like, "This is stupid. I don't want to do this."
I just spit a lot. I was in the woods and I hit a
Say-
blunt,
s-
and I was just like, "Oh, there's so much spit coming out of my mouth."
exactly. I started
All spit, dude. I was just like, "Right."
I'm not even that high.
Yeah,
This
they're
is
like, you
blowfly."
feel it? I'm like, I'm just spitting. I'm coughing and spitting. I need a drink. That's how I felt the whole time.
Exactly. It was kind of sketchy. It was kind of fun.
And now I love it, dude. It's my favorite thing.
I smoked. I got back from. So I was. It was like 2 months. I spent like a 3.5 week trip in Japan when I was 18.
Yeah,
it was like
which
a big
3.5
moment.
weeks not
I come
smoking
back-
weed, dude. Because you're
Well,
not buying weed.
I
in
didn't
Japan.
smoke weed at that point. Like
Oh,
it was
okay.
I was about to graduate high school.
Then
I
you're
had
fine.
a couple months left, and I remember I was always a super picky eater growing up. Super picky eater, and I smoked weed one night, and I ate these these box pizzas that I thought were gross all the time, and I ate it, and I actually grew the most. Like I grew after I started to smoke weed because I started to eat more.
Yeah.
Because I took amphetamines growing up, and I never ate anything because I
Would
wasn't
not
hungry.
make you hungry. Yeah, it would make you like, I'm good. I'm all right on that.
And this is going to sound like an addiction, but it was also the first time like things felt okay. I've always had a mood disorder. When you feel like shit all the time and you have some degree of control over it, there are side effects. You do talk too much, you can become oblivious. But and then you like it. And then I would go, I'll fucking do it. I'll hike mountains. Like low ones, usually nothing crazy, but I'll get stoned. I remember going out in Boulder. That's what I do in Boulder, dude. I'd literally just point at something I'd see from like the balcony on my apartment. I'd be like, I'm gonna go climb that mountain.
that.
And I did. I would point at like flat irons and those
That's
big
cool.
rocks. There's pictures of me on top of them, like
That's
taking selfies.
That's dope.
and that's what I do
fucking
with mountains
sick.
now. I've climbed 16 of the tallest peaks in the state.
That's fucking wild. See, I want to do that, but every time I think about doing that, I'm like, man, I'm real tired.
You have to wake up pretty early.
I'd like to take a nap, you know? And I'd have to have somebody force me to.
Well, you can also do different. You don't have to go out and
Climb up.
enjoy the outdoors. You don't have to do 14ers. You can
No,
go to like
no.
normal trail day
Absolutely.
things.
Which I've done before, you know? I've gotten out there and I've done little ones. But a lot of people talk about, like, going out and, like, climbing, like, 14ers and doing, like, big mountains. More than miles. Like, it was 9 miles. 9 miles?
Oh yeah, I've done.
To the hike, and then you have to walk back?
No, usually 9 miles is round trip. 'Cause
Yeah. Even then, dude.
You
You do that 1 month, and then 6 months later you do it again. That's 18 miles you just
Dude,
walked.
I ran on my 25th birthday. I was like, what should I do? And I always would do like I bike a ton, but for my 25th birthday, which was like a little over a year ago, I was like, I just moved back to Colorado after moving to Austin. I'm like, I can't be a bitch. So I wanted to run like a marathon. So without really training, I ran from
ran a
Boulder to
marathon?
Denver, and in my
Jesus
path, it ended
Christ.
up being like almost 32 miles.
Fuck that, John. Henry. Fuck that, dude. Just fuck the feeling, the thought of even doing that.
And I didn't listen because I'm a fucking psycho to music the entire time.
Oh my god.
It was just me in my head. 'cause
You raw dogged it like a flight, dude.
except at the
30 miles. How long was it?
it took me like oh god, what was my time?
You don't have a medal hanging up on the wall?
No, because I didn't really. It wasn't that impressive of a time, and it was something like,
It would taken me 4 days.
was it like 7 hours? I can't remember how long it took. I think it was something like that.
Would have taken me longer than half a week.
It wasn't anything like impressive, and if you train for it, I'd be in much better position. But I just wanted to see I could do it. The only thing I did listen to is at the end. Do you know that Halo's 3 like one final effort theme?
Not off the top of my head. Can you hum it?
No. It's God. I wish we could play it.
What's it called?
Tell
me what it's
Halo
called right
3. I think it's one final.
One final effort.
One final push. Let me check.
One final push. Halo 3. Yeah. One final effort. Got it.
Yeah.
It's a no copyright. No free advertisements.
Luckily, I've learned.
So that's what you felt.
No,
No.
At mile 20, at mile, I think it was at mile 26. I thought it was mile 20, but I was mile 26. I had 6 more miles, and I'm like, oh my god, my legs were dead, barely could move, and I'm like, I need something. So
Did you piss or poop yourself?
No, luckily because I didn't eat anything all day because I talked to my aunt who's.
I've heard a lot of people do that.
Well, they eat. I didn't eat. I got this thing called Goop, which is it's like a liquid carbohydrates.
Okay.
So it's great because your body's burning stuff, but it doesn't. If people have issues with digestion.
Sit in
So
your
I didn't have
stomach.
anything in my. It's like honey, and so it's burned immediately. Yeah. I luckily my aunt's. She's done Ironman. She's amazing.
She's an Iron Man.
Yeah, she won second place in like. Her
She's Robert
women's-
Downey Jr.
She's a badass. My Aunt Lori's a fucking badass.
That's
I think
dope.
she's been on this podcast.
That's really sick.
And she got me into that, but I talked to her about that. So I had all this gorp. I had water with electrolytes, and it sucked. But that song, I just played on repeat at the over and over because it's the very last point in the game.
I'm getting one final effort, dude. I'm getting there. I'm eating goop.
I remember I was coming because I was living with my parents at the time. I was coming down my parents, like a couple miles from my parents. I was pretty close. And these two people were like, they're like, yeah, I've been running for like 24 miles. I'm almost there. They were like, go, go, go. And it's never, I think it was a physical achievement. And that one thing was that it was like a David Goggins thing. Like, I need to prove to myself I can do this because my life is so fucked up and I have so many things out of control. Let me prove I could do tough things.
Okay.
And that type of also the endorphins are like the only thing that I can rely on to like help control the mental illness. They're the best medicine. I work out every day.
That's crazy.
And
That's impressive, dude. Last night I
And I can
stayed
say I
awake
did that.
long enough to eat a Hershey's bar.
That's important.
I fell asleep, and then I woke up halfway through the Hershey bar, and I ate the rest. It was a little warm, but you push and you push until you get to where you need to be. That's how I think of when I fall asleep before I finish my Hershey bar.
I was running from being a loser. Like, I knew that feeling that whole life of I was so addicted to video games. I was so ashamed of it for so long.
Really?
And I knew it like held me back in so many ways. And when I was really struggling during COVID to find out because COVID wasn't satisfying and my depression was kicking in, it was actually the David Goggins being like, no one gives a fucking shit. Here's my shitty life. And it's also
You're
people are like,
"You're
believe
right.
in
Nobody
believe in
gives a
yourself,
shit about
believe in
me, dude."
yourself. But there's also, and this has
Hate
been said
myself.
before, like generate evidence. And I was like, if I ran, when I've climbed, people ask me, what have I done? Like I've climbed Little Bear Peak, which was probably one of the most dangerous standard 14er routes to climb in the state.
Damn.
And you can't believe you're doing it. But when you do it, you're like, that I did that. And having those victories over yourself when you feel like a loser because you have no control over your emotion,
Yeah.
those are, and I don't think people can get those. That's how I do it. I like that. But I think people can do it from like this or like I think what's somebody like, I'm so happy Ashley likes me talking to her because I do love when I see supportive girlfriends of comedy because to me it's like, oh, I can find that too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's out there. It's something that exists.
It's theoretically possible.
Yeah, it's something that exists, and it's not.
I mean, I hate to like be a drama, but like, are you gonna ask her to? I think girls be like, marry you. Is that in the realm of your mind?
Oh, 100%. I've been with her for 6 years. She'll be my wife eventually. I just eventually. Right now, I'm poor.
and I have been poor for a long time, and we're not worried. We're not too caught up on like the title of everything, you know? Like we don't need to be husband and wife.
Do you know
ASAP.
Evan Fitzgerald
Yeah.
and his girlfriend Laura?
Yeah.
They kind of like, I think they were in a situation, but I think they were dating for over a decade.
Wow.
They, kind of. I don't think they met in college. Or I can't remember exactly, but they were together for a very long time.
Yeah.
And Laura kind of came to him and be like, "You have to marry me, or I'm gonna leave."
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a. It was like, just do it already.
Yeah.
And so he did. And I love it because it was such. And I even brought it up to her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it was just. I just wanted to make it official at some point."
Yeah, and like that will happen eventually.
She's gonna be like,
absolutely will happen. And I'm only 24. Like I'm 24 years old. We met when we were 18. Like I will do it. I just
literally grew up together.
exactly like I met her when I was 18, turning 19, and she was 18, graduating high school. And it was right after I graduated, so she graduated a year below me, and we had been with each other. 3 weeks into dating, she moved into my apartment with my best friend because her mom and her stepdad's kids were moving back in because they had a situation, and she just didn't want to live in a house that had all that many people, like just so many fucking people in the house. So she started living with me and Noah, and then eventually I found an apartment that we moved to. We rented from 2 realtors that owned it themselves, and we lived there for a year or 2, and then they decided to sell. So at the time of them deciding to sell, my Nana passed away right before COVID. And
I'm sorry about that.
my dad got a good amount of money in his inheritance, and wanted to invest in property, and my apartment was getting sold. So I was like, hey, buy this house that I live in so I can still live in it, you know? So he fucking bought the apartment, and he's glad he did because it tripled in value since he bought it. You're welcome, Dad. Shout out, Dad. But then after me and Ashley moved, my sister and her boyfriend live in that apartment, and we moved out here. So like we've been with each other for close to 6 years, almost every day. Like there's a little bit of time where I wasn't with her when I took like a 4-day vacation to Florida when I was doing hair. But other than that, we've been with each other every single day. So
I hate how much I'm jealous
best friend.
of that, because and maybe because I did, like, my parents had a very real relationship. There were ups and there were downs. Like
Yeah.
there were a lot of tough times.
Absolutely, which exists in a good relationship.
Exactly. And
Like,
it's
shit
why I
happens.
told myself, like, I got to see one of the moments I knew my brother-in-law I was okay with him dating my sister, is because my sister will run your life if you let her.
Yeah. Okay.
And one night they're getting ready and she's freaking out because she's running, late. Just normal freak out, nothing
Yeah.
crazy. And she's going off on him, and he just finally, she's like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do, Jenny? And I'm like, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
He'll be all right.
And
He'll be
I
good.
trusted him enough to, like, have that push. And that's when I saw how real their relationship was. I'm like, he's gonna marry her eventually.
Yeah.
And that was, I want to get married. I loved weddings. I loved
The
growing
idea
up.
of it.
And I remember as a teenager, I hated being in a family too. And then I saw, like, how amazing it was and how good I had it. And I'm like, dude, I want someone like that. Like, I want to, and I don't know, I'm kind of still new to having success at dating. And the short-term thing made me feel like shit real quick.
Yeah.
Like a weird depression.
Like you're working towards something that doesn't matter.
Or like, it was like someone had knocked you, like, a part of you out.
Yeah.
But you're just sitting there like, why do I feel like shit? Like, I just was on top of the world. This was great. And then you're like,
Everything was fine, and then immediately nothing is fine.
This was supposed to be the moment when everything was okay. And
Yeah.
And
That's what sucks. And that's why I'm like happy that I found somebody that I match with, that I vibe with so well. Like we get each other. She's very, very funny. For not being a comic, she's fucking hysterical. But she's just we relate to each other, you know? They say opposites attract, and she is very much not like me, but in other ways we are the same person, and that's the cool part. It's,
There
No,
are
that's-
things that she's really good at. There are things that I'm really bad. She's great at managing her money. So good. I'm horrible. My sweatshirt says I spent all my money on dabs. Cause I do, dude. Cause I spend a lot of fucking money. I can't do that. That's one thing I'm just not. I'm not good at that shit. And she's so good at that. She is a tried and true fucking adult.
That's a yin and yang. I
It
realized.
is. I'm a comic that serves food, and I'm like, I gotta get my shit together. And she's like, honestly, I'm looking to like get a managerial position. I'm like, you're just an adult, aren't you? You're just such an adult. You're so grown up.
I'm
I'm
stupid.
a boy.
I gave up like everything to do stand up after like I did my undergrad, but I was gonna go on. I could do something in academia, and I just like could make money in these, but I don't like to do them. I'm gonna do stand up. It's always like, oh, I'm the same way, but I'm a bit of a psycho. Like I don't do a lot, but I also do. I'm always working out. I struggle to like sit down and be still. It's why. Like there was someone I trained with who I had a crush on for a while, and was also kind of fiery. And I realized that's like really temporarily fun, but will just
It won't work in the long run.
I
Yeah.
kind of need someone who's more chill and relaxed because
Yeah.
they bring it down. But it's interesting how I said earlier that I noticed like I have gay friends, and there tends to be like a masculine and a feminine role in every relationship that at least tend to function well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important, finding how those person works for you, and the fact that, I guess why the journey's amazing, because it's not the same for everybody. You're not going to go find the same movie every time.
Exactly. What do you do for work?
Right now, hopefully the women I'm dating won't see this week. I'm unemployed right now. I've been unemployed for like a month and a half.
Okay, what are you looking to do?
I was looking to go back and work at the state. Like I worked at the state. I was going to go. The state doesn't pay as well, but it has consistent hours and good health insurance.
What were you doing?
I was just doing like a temporary agency position. My dad worked at the state for years, so during summers would go and work at like an office, just do whatever they needed to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, kind of just like get the extra stuff
kind of
done.
just helping a place out.
Okay.
Kind of nothing jobs, and I was working there temporarily as a temp, and I got to know one of the guys in the statistics department. Now I'm trying to go back and get a position there permanently.
Gotcha.
And mainly because I've worked in there since I was in like high school, and
Yeah.
there's like they have a good retirement plan, one of the
Okay.
best in the country. You
To
get
where,
a
like-
pension. You get a pension, which is not as
Yeah. It's a good
to just toot my grandpa, my old grandpa. So he was a school teacher, and he retired when he was 65, normal retirement age.
yeah.
Now he's like 92. Like he's gotten like millions of dollars from the state. Like not because over the years he got like, if you spend, I think he spent his like 35 years or something there at the state, you get like over the course, because he's lived a very long life too, because he's been retired for almost 30 years.
Damn.
And it's one of the cool things that was always a backup for me, because I was like, I'm gonna do the state because it allows me to do stand up. Was the thing I spent my life in college. I was in college for 5.5 years. I went around from 3D animation to actuary sciences to electrical engineering.
Bunch of different stuff.
I'm glad I got my degree. I did enjoy learning about mathematics and computer science, and especially Japanese. But the second I did stand up, I'm like, I didn't get it. Like I'd be in computer science. Like I like to be I was very competitive and liked to be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
And I would do that, and I would spend all my time in office hours. But people there, and I saw people love to code. I'm like, you love to code, dude? I fucking hate to code. I just want to fucking be an A and be like, I'm smarter,
Yeah, exactly.
And I did. I ended up, I didn't have the best GPA, but I didn't have a shitty one.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw how much people loved it, and I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And I got mad about that because I was in college for so
it's
long.
not the same feeling that they had.
I did stand up literally once, and I'm like, I don't know, like I'm gonna do this till I die, and then you get better at it. You get better at seeing this. Even this podcast, like I'm new to this. I'm not great at conversations. I'm very high.
I'm very high. See, that's the nice part for you, dude. It still lasts. Like you're still stoned. Like I'm just tired, now.
Dude. That's the thing. One of the things that got me to be smoke
I need
less
a
weed.
tea break, dude.
When I love smoking weed with stuff like this, because I was like, if I spend 4 days sober, then when I get high, it means something.
Yeah, it actually works, is what it does. Holy shit.
I take a dab and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm stoned. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, I'd like a cheesesteak right now. It'd be nice to have a cheesesteak and a nap.
What time is it? How long have we been
It's
going here?
3 o'clock. We've been doing 2 hours and change, and I
3 minutes.
am.
I gotta pee. That's for sure.
You gotta be. I'm working on just trying to stop eating glass, man. But I've had a lot of fun.
I've had a lot, dude. I've kept you here. Thank you so much.
This
for doing this.
was-
I'm probably gonna invite you here to do this again sometime.
I would absolutely love to do this again
Dude,
sometime. This would be
fucking-
great.
this
Do you
would be
still do
great.
mushrooms?
Yes, I would have to. Yeah, yes. Oh, yes, yes.
Prepare for one, but I've got gummies whenever you want them. You let me know. Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.